بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير الخلق أجمعين نبينا وقدوتنا محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي رب زدني علما. Alhamdulillah, I'm about to start the Salaam Academy Qa'idah teaching method, which is going to be on purple book, which is known as graded steps in Qur'an reading. Inshallah, we will go through the book section by section, lesson by lesson, and unit by unit, where I'm going to explain each and every lesson separately and the major points that we have to focus on. Before I start, there are a few things I would like to tell everyone with regards to this method, and that is because it is for the Salaam Academy, so we have decided to have a unified method for our Qa'idah teaching, to just make it easy for the students, for the kids, for the parents, and for the teachers, and to have a unified method where everyone is teaching in the same way and not confusing anyone. You may differ with the method I'm going to explain in this. As I have said, it is not about what is right or what is wrong, or who is right or who is wrong. There could be more than one way or one method to teach this purple book, but some of the things are not even correct. People, they have picked it as a shortcut, which I don't believe should be done, because we have to teach the kids, or we have to teach the Qa'idah with the correct method and with the correct way. But there are things which we may have two opinions, so regardless which one we follow, there is no harm. But inshallah, I would like to focus on the method that we are going to pick for the Salaam Academy. So to start, we have section number 1, which is quick start, and this section is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. For the beginners, for the kids, for the students, we don't have to start this book with the section number 1 with the quick start. The quick start is all about to tell you what are you going to learn in this book in terms of the alphabets, in terms of the vowels, fatha, kasra, dhamma, in terms of the mud letters, alif, waw, and ya, fathatain, kasratain, and dhammatain, which we call them tanween, and then sukoon, and then the shadda, and finally how to stop on certain on each and every single word at the end. So the first section is a quick start. We don't have to start our lesson with it. Is just a quick start for the whole book, so it would be very difficult for the students to understand or to go through, because they haven't learned anything with regards to the fatha, kasra, dhamma, fathatain, kasratain, dhammatain, or any other, or all those things that they have to learn step by step. So inshallah, the first lesson that we will start with the kids is going to be the section number 2, alphabets and short vowels. Now we have unit number 6 as a first lesson that we are going to teach our kids. It is about the alphabets in sequence. So there are a few points, and as I have mentioned in each lesson, I'm going to first mention the points that we have to focus as a teacher or as a parent to teach our kids, and inshallah then after that I will go through the lesson itself. Okay, lesson number 1. the alphabet in sequence. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The points that we have to focus here are as follows. Number one, in this unit we have to make sure that we are teaching the kids the right way of pronouncing the alphabets, and we are teaching them the correct way how to pronounce or the name of each alphabet, because some students they learn in a way that is not correct. For example, the letter Jim is known as a Jim and it is not known as a Ja. Most students I have found they read Jim as a Ja or Ain as a A. They read the sound of the letter, and I think because in their schools in English they learn the sounds before the names, so that's why they get confused. But in this unit, in lesson number 1, we have to teach them the names for the alphabets, the correct way to pronounce the alphabet, which is we call makharij, the articulation points for each letter, and what we have to focus here to make sure that the student or that the child is pronouncing the alphabet correctly. And we have to emphasize on the heavy letters, which are 7. I will mention here Kha, Sad, Dad, Ghain, Ta, Qaf, and Dha. These are the 7 heavy letters which we have to emphasize with the kids to make sure that they are pronouncing or reading them heavily with their mouth is when they pronounce, the mouth is full with these, where they have air in their mouth when they read these letters. There are 2 other letters which are not heavy letters, but we have to emphasize on these 2 letters specifically because most students they just take it lightly or they don't know how to pronounce it, which is Ha and Ain. So as a teacher or as a parent, make sure that your student is pronouncing Ha and Ain correctly from the middle of the throat. From the middle of the throat. And again, the heavy letters, make sure that they are reading the heavy letters properly, such as Qaf. It's not Qa, it's not Qaf, it's Qaf. Somehow we have to explain to them. Roughly we have to tell them from where the Qaf comes, and the other letters as well. Final point that I would like to focus on, that is when we teach them these alphabets, we have to tell them that the alphabets are long, 2 counts long, if they don't have vowels, fatha, kasra, dhamma, and they are not short letters, because in Arabic when we write these alphabets, if you write them, Ba has alif with it, Jim has alif with it, Dal comes with alif and Lam, and so on and so forth. So these letters should be taught in a way that they stretch these letters 2 counts, and we have to explain to them that the alphabet without vowels are 2 counts long. So the first letter is Alif, Ba, Ta, Tha, Jim, Ha, Kha, Dal, Dhal, Ra, Zay, Sin, Shin, Sad, Dad, Ta, Dha, Ain, Ghain, Fa, Qaf, Kaf, Lam, Mim, Noon, Ha, Waw, and Ya. So this is the first lesson, the alphabet in sequence. Lesson number 1, unit number 6. Lesson number 2, which is unit number 7, letter recognition practice. So in this lesson we have to make sure that the student, he or she, knows the name of each alphabet, because most of the time they just memorize the letters in order, and if it comes to ask them or to mix the letters, they do struggle. So we have to make sure in this lesson that they are strongly know that they strongly know the letters and the alphabets with their names: Alif, Dal, Ra, hamza, ta, all these mixed letters in unit number 7, which is lesson number 2. Again, it is to recognize the letters in their various forms and in their different forms. In this lesson, we have to explain to the students that each alphabet has three forms: at the beginning of the word, in the middle of the word, and at the end of the word. And sometimes the same letter, for example ba or ta, or for example lam or mim or ain, in some letters at the beginning, if they are at the beginning of the word, they look different. If they are in the middle of the word, they look different, and if they are at the end of the word, then they do look different. So the teacher has to explain all these different forms on the board, and making sure that they do understand that we have full form of the letters, alphabets, which is alif, ba, ta, tha till the end, and then we have joining form for each letter, and each letter has different form at the beginning of the word, in the middle of the word, and at the end of the word. This is unit number 8. Unit number 9, which is lesson number 3, it is more practice about the letters, to recognize the letters. And in this unit, we have to make sure that the students know different forms of the letters, of the joining letters at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end, as we have learned in our previous lesson. Here they have to read 2 letters together, and what we have to tell them, the point that we have to focus on is that if the letters are joined, if they're together without vowels, without fatha, kasra, dhamma, then we should read the full letter as it is. For example, on line number 1, in line number 1, it says ba and sin, so we have to read these 2 letters together: ba, sin, ta, ra, ta, mim, jim, lam, ha, jim, kha, ta, sin, dal, shin, ra, and we have to continue in the same way until the end of the lesson. One thing that I have missed to mention in unit number 2, in unit number 8, and that is we have to leave the last line, which is line number 9, for the most of the lessons, for the coming lessons as well, as they are very advanced, long lines, and the students are not ready to read those long lines. So we have to skip the line, the last line, or even if it is more than one line, then we have to skip those advanced lines, and we have to come back at the end of the last lesson of this book, which is unit number 48. Once they are ready to read all those long lines and 2 words together, then we have to come back a lesson for all those lines that we are going to miss in each lesson, starting from unit number 8, lesson number 3. Okay, lesson number 5, and which is unit number 10. The first vowel, which is known as fatha. So the first point that we have to focus here on, that we should make sure that we teach the child the sign of fatha, how it looks like, what we have to say, how we pronounce it. So fatha always on the top of the letter, and we call it fatha, not fatha, it fatha. And the sound of the fatha we have to teach them. The last and main point that we have to focus and that we have to tell the students is, if the letters has these vowels, fatha, kasra, dhamma, first we read the letter as normal, as we have learned in our previous lessons, that the alphabets, when we read the alphabets, just alphabets, they are 2 counts long. But when we join the letters or alphabets with these vowels, the sound becomes short, very short, half sound. And I'm going to read all those letters with the sign of fatha and the sound of fatha with these letters. Hamza fatha a, ba fatha ba, ta fatha ta. So when I read the letter, I read it properly as 2 counts long. But when I join the letter with the sound, with the fatha, the sound of fatha with that letter become short. ثاء فتحة ث جيم فتحة ج حاء فتحة ح خاء فتحة خ دال فتحة د ذال فتحة ذ راء فتحة را زاي فتحة ز سين فتحة س شين فتحة ش صاد فتحة ص ضاد فتحة ض طاء فتحة ط ظاء فتحة ظ عين فتحة ع غين فتحة غ فاء فتحة ف قاف فتحة ق كاف فتحة ك لام فتحة ل ميم فتحة م نون فتحة ن هاء فتحة ه واو فتحة و ياء فتحة ي. Very important to teach the child that the sound with vowels is very short. This is one of the most common mistakes the kids will have in future when they come when they come and read the Qur'an. It is that they are stretching the vowels with fatha or kasra or dhamma. So from now we have to teach them in a right way, that is the letter with the sound or with the vowel fatha or kasra or dhamma, the sound of that letter is very short. Now the way we have to teach this first unit of fatha, unit number 10, lesson number 5, lesson number 5, with the spelling. As we agreed that in Islam Academy the students will be learning the purple book with the spelling method, and the spelling method is as follows. So line number 5 on unit number 10: Hamza fatha a, Mim fatha ma, Ama, Ra fatha ra, Amara. Now the point we have to focus here while we are teaching the kids to read the words with the spelling is, number 1, that when they read the sound of the letter with vowel fatha, the sound should be short, and they have to join first and second letter sound together shortly, as I have read in the first example. I will continue the same line number 5. Ba fatha ba, lam fatha la, bala, ghain fatha gha, balagha. So we are not teaching the child or the student to read or to strike the letters. If he has read with fatha ba, lam fatha la, now he should read these two letters together with their sound. It has to be short. But if he read like this, bala, then it is incorrect, and the teacher or the parent should correct them at the same time or on the spot, because we don't want them to get this as a habit of stretching the letters. Tha fatha tha, mim fatha ma, thama, ra fatha ra, thamara, jim fatha ja, mim fatha ma, jama, ain fatha a, jama'a. So it is not jama'a. They are not reading each letter separately. Neither they are stretching the vowels, the sound of the vowel fatha. It is very important that we should remind and we should correct the students if they read incorrectly. Ha fatha ha, sin fatha sa, hasa, dal fatha da, hasada, ذال فتحة ذا، كاف فتحة ك، ذك، را فتحة را، ذكر، را فتحة را، فا فتحة ف، رفع، عين فتحة ع، رفع، زا فتحة ز، عين فتحة ع، زع، ميم فتحة م، زعم، شين فتحة ش، را فتحة را، شر، حا فتحة ح، شرح، صاد فتحة ص، دال فتحة د صاد قاف فتحة ق صدق ضاد فتحة ض را فتحة ر ضر با فتحة ب ضرب ضا فتحة ض لام فتحة ل ظل ميم فتحة م ظلم. And we have to continue in the same way until the end of this lesson, unit number 10, which is about fatha. Moving to the next 6 and unit number 11, the vowel kasra. As we have learnt in our previous lesson, the vowel fatha, how we have to read it with the alphabet and what would be the sound and what are the points that we have to focus. The same points we have to apply here in this lesson as well, in terms of not stretching the sound of the vowel kasra, in terms of reading the first and second letter together, and then reading the whole word without stretching the sound of the vowels, either it is fatha or kasra. Hamza fatha a, ذال كسرة ذي أذي نون فتحة ن أذين با فتحة ب قاف كسرة قي بقي يا فتحة ي بقي حا فتحة ح ميم كسرة مي حمي دال فتحة د حميدة خا فتحة خا شين كسرة شي خشي يا فتحة ي خشية. And the way the teachers they should teach the children or the kids is, first they have to read and the students they have to follow the teacher, each alphabet with the vowel kasra or fatha, and they have to follow the teacher. It is very important for the teacher to read the lesson, and it's very important for the kids to listen to hear how it should be read, and the whole lesson should be read by the teacher, and they should follow each word, each alphabet after the teacher, and after that everyone should read one line or one word. It depends on the teacher, it depends on the time, how much time is left, and how many students are strong or weak. And each where this is very important, which is the repetition. What we have to know, the kids are very good at this stage when it comes to the repetition, and they learn quickly. So we have to make sure that they are repeating the whole lesson again and again and again. This is their practice in the class, and when they go home and learn and practice at home, inshallah, that will make them more stronger. So very important that teacher is not listening to one and the rest of them they are playing, or they are distracted with other by others or so and so. So everyone is focused, everyone has his finger on the book, and they are reading after the child, after the one who is reading, or after the after the teacher. So teacher has to read the whole lesson, and they have to follow the teacher, each alphabet and each word. After that, the students they have to start reading one word, two word, or maybe one line, and the one who is reading, the rest of them they should follow him after he read, and it has to be one by one. Lesson number 7, which is unit number 12, and it is the last vowel, which is known as dhamma. The sound of the dhamma, how to pronounce dhamma, and how to spell the words in this unit, as we have learned in our previous 2 lessons of fatha and kasra. So same things will apply to this lesson as well. Now we have dhamma and the sound of dhamma. Hamza dhamma u, ba dhamma bu, ta dhamma tu, tha dhamma thu, jim dhamma ju, حا ضم حو خا ضم خو دال ضم دو ذال ضم ذو را ضم رو زاي ضم زو سين ضم سو شين ضم شو صاد ضم ص ضاد ضم ض طاء ضم ط ظاء ضم ظ عين ضم ع غين ضم غ فاء ضم ف قاف ضم ق كاف ضم ك لام ضم ل ميم ضم م نون ضم ن هاء ضم ه واو ضم و يا ضم يو. Moving to the next line, that is line number 5 in unit number 12. How to spell it with the vowel dhamma is جيم ضم جو عين كسر جوعي لام فتحة لا جوعي خاء ضم خو لام كسر لي خلي قاف فتحة ق خلق ذال ضم ذو كاف كسر كي ذكي را فتحة را ذكر سين ضم سو همزة كسر إي سئي لام فتحة لا سئل. And we have to continue the same way until the end of the lesson, unit number 12. Moving to unit number 13, lesson number 8. It is all about the practice with these short vowels that we have learned in our previous lessons. Fatha, Kasra, Dhamma. And we have to go through this unit as a practice unit. And the teachers, they have to make sure that the students are strong when they read the Fatha, Kasra, Dhamma. They are not making the mistake of stretching the letters or with the vowels, and they're not stretching the sound of those vowels, and they are not stretching the end of the word especially as well. Unit number 13 is all about the practice, and it is the last unit of section number 2. Section number 3, about tanween, sukoon and shadda. Unit number 14, the first unit in this section, which is lesson number 9 for us. It is about fathatain. As I have said, we have a unified method of learning this purple book. So we call this tanween, which is 2 fatha on the top of the letter, is known in Arabic as fathatain. So in this unit, what we have to focus on is that they should know the name of these 2 fatha in Arabic, which is fathatain, and it is not fatha tanween, even though it is written on top of the book. As I've said, it is not the right terminology according to the Arabic language. The scholars of this knowledge, which is tajweed, which is Qur'an recitation, they never mention tanween as fatha tanween. Tanween is a title for 2 fatha, for 2 kasra, and for 2 dhamma. But when we have to say the fatha, 2 fatha in Arabic, we call it fathatain. So this is what we have to do. They have to know the first thing, what to say, what we have to say, these 2 fatha in Arabic. And secondly, we have to tell the students that always, or almost, not always, almost, fathatain almost has alif after it or with it. But we don't have to pronounce, we don't have to read that alif. That alif, we have to read it or pronounce it if we want to stop on a word that has fathatain at the end, which is not our topic at the moment. So we have to focus on how to pronounce 2 fatha in Arabic, fathatain, and we have to explain to them that fathatain almost has alif with it, but we don't have to read that alif. Thirdly, we have to go now and read the fathatain in this lesson, in this unit. So in line number, I will start with the first line. Hamza fathatain an, ba fathatain ban, ta fathatain tan, And the other thing that the teacher has to remember to focus is that there is no ghunna when we just pronounce fathatain. There is no ghunna at the end. We don't have to say ba fathatain ban. There is no ghunna. Ta fathatain tan. Tha fathatain than. Jim fathatain jan. Ha fathatain han. Kha fathatain khan. دال فتحتين دن ذال فتحتين ذن راء فتحتين رن زاي فتحتين زن سين فتحتين سن شين فتحتين شن صاد فتحتين صن ضاد فتحتين ضن طاء فتحتين طن ضاء فتحتين ظن عين فتحتين عن غين فتحتين غن فاء فتحتين فن قاف فتحتين قن كاف فتحتين كن لام فتحتين لن ميم فتحتين من نون فتحتين نن ها فتحتين هن واو فتحتين ون يا فتحتين ين. Again, I will repeat the letters. We have to pronounce their full names. It is waw, it is not wa. So we have to focus on this as well. And secondly, we have to make sure that the pronunciation for this word fathatain is correct as well. They're not saying fatatain. There is a ha, so we have to emphasize somehow to tell them or to teach them, to let them know there is a fatha. In fathatain there is a ha, so they have to pronounce it correctly. It's ideally to teach them in a correct way. Fathatain. Line number 5 in unit 14. Hamza fatha a, ba fatha ba, aba, dal fathatain dan, abadan, را فتحة را غين فتحة غ رغ دال فتحتين دن رغدا طا فتحة طا باء فتحة با طابا قاف فتحتين قن طبقا جيم فتحة جا نون فتحة ن جنا فا فتحتين فن جنفا ميم فتحة ما لام كسرة لي ملي كاف فتحتين كن مليكا. Again, in this unit we have to again focus, as we have been focusing in our previous lessons, that we should not stretch the sound of the vowels fatha or fathatain, and we have to read the first and second letter with their sound shortly together without stretching or without reading the letters separately, like abadan or abadan or abadan. We don't have to stretch, we don't have to read in this way at all. Unit number 15, about kasratain. Two kasra, we call them kasratain in Arabic, and the sound of kasratain is in. That's what we have to teach our kids, and this is lesson number 10 in our lessons. Same way, we have to read these alphabets with the sign of kasratain, and the sound is added with kasra, sound of noon. And then we have to spell the words ayn fatha a, mim fatha ma, ama, dal kasratain din, amadin, ta fatha ta, ba fatha ba, طاب قاف كسرتين قن طبق كاف فتحة ك باء فتحة ب كب دال كسرتين دن كبد عين فتحة ع لام فتحة ل على قاف كسرتين قن علق ميم فتحة م سين فتحة س masa, dal kasra dain din, masadin. And we have to complete the rest of the lines. And remember, as I've mentioned, line number 9, we have to skip it in these lessons: fatha, kasra, dhamma, and fathatain and kasratain. Okay, unit number 16, lesson number 11, dhammatain, two dhamma. We call them dhammatain in Arabic, the sound of dhammatain. And then the same points we have to focus, that we have focused in our previous lessons, of fathatain and kasratain. So line number 5, sin dhamma su, ra dhamma ru, suru, ra dhammatain run, sururun, hamza dhamma u, dhal dhamma dhu, udhu, nun dhammatain nun, udhunun, kaf dhamma ku, ta dhamma tu, kutu, ba dhammatain bun, kutubun, ra dhamma ru, sin dhamma su, rusu, lam dhammatain lun, rusulun, ra fatha ra, jim dhamma ju, raju, lam dhammatain lun, rajulun. And in this unit number 16, lesson number 11, on line number 8, we have last two words. We have here mad letter, which is alif, and the students, they haven't learned about the mad letter, so they will be confused in terms of how to spell it. If we skip this word, there's no harm. And if we just tell them roughly that when you see the empty alif, which is a mad letter, then join the letter with that, the previous letter with that alif. But I would say we should leave that word and not to confuse, because in our coming lessons, inshallah, they will learn about these things. Lesson number 12, unit number 17, and this is a new sign that we are going to learn today, and that is known as sukoon. In this lesson, these teachers, they have to focus on these points. Number 1, how it looks like, the sign, the sukoon of sign, the sign of sukoon, and what does it do? Basically, we have to teach the students, we have to tell them the sukoon is a sign. If it is on any letter, that we have to join it with the previous letter, and we have to combine the sound of the previous letter and the sound of the letter that has sukoon on it. And how we have to spell it, this is what we are going to learn in this unit. And as I have said, you may find others, they are spelling it in different way, but we would like our teachers and students and the parents to follow this unified method of Salaam Academy in terms of reading this purple book with spelling. And the way we have to spell is, the sukoon is hamza noon fatha an. We have to read the letters, two letters first, and this is an indication for the kids, for the students, that when you see the sukoon, you don't pronounce the sound of the first letter, because when they are on the Qur'an and they have learned this way, they won't make the mistake, which is they won't say a instead of an. As soon as they see the sukoon on the next letter, automatically, and because they have been doing this and they have learned in their spelling method to join the sound of the sukoon letter with the letter before, inshallah, that is one of those benefit of reading or spelling the sukoon in this way, and that is hamza dhal. So you read the first letter fatha, so you read the letter hamza with dhal. You just read the letters, two letters together, and then you read the sign of the first letter. And we don't have to say the sukoon, the sign of sukoon, because we don't join the letters until they have sukoon or shadda. So by doing this, they will know that if we are joining two letters together, meaning the next letter has sukoon, and what does sukoon do is that it joins the first letter, the previous letter, with it, and we have to join the sounds of both letters together. Hamza dal kasra id, Hamza mim fatha am, Hamza noon kasra in, Ba lam fatha bal, Ta ba dhamma tub, Kha dal dhamma khud, Dal ain fatha da', Dha ra fatha dhar, ذال قاف ضمة ذق, زاي دال فتحة زد, sorry, here زاي دال كسرة زد, سين لام فتحة سل, فا فتحة ف, صاد را ضمة صر, فصر, عين نون فتحة عم, عين نون فتحة عن, عين دال كسرة عد. Line number 3 in unit number 27, in unit number 17. واو فتحة و, عين ضا كسرة عض, وعض. قاف دال فتحة قد, قاف لام ضمة قل, قاف ميم ضمة قم, كاف ميم فتحة كم, لام فتحة لا, كاف ميم ضمة كم, لكم. كاف نون ضمة كن, كاف لام ضمة كل, لام ميم فتحة لم, لام نون فتحة لن, ميم نون فتحة من, ميم نون كسرة من, ها با فتحة هب. Now we have another letter. The next letter is lam with a mad letter, that is ya, because the kids haven't learned the mad letters. So the only thing we have to teach them here in this word that is they have to stretch the lam with the mad letters that they are going to learn, because we have to stretch the letter before the mad letter 2 counts. So lam ya kasra li, and because if the letter is an empty letter having no sign, originally it has a sign of sukoon, but they didn't put that sign, and that is because this is an Arabic font. The Qur'an they are going to read on is going to be an Arabic font, is a specific font, and they didn't put the sukoon on the mud letters as an indication for the beginners, for those to know that there is a stretch. So this is what we have to tell very briefly to the kids, and move on to the next word. Fa fatha fa, ha lam fatha hal, فهل, لام فتحة لا, ها ميم ضمة هم, لهم. Line number 5, and in this line number 5 we have last 2 words which starts with Hamzatul Wasl, and because I haven't learned about Hamzatul Wasl, it would be difficult to explain the whole Hamzatul Wasl. I would recommend the teachers and the parents to put kasra on the 4th letter of line number 5, and kasra again on the last letter or last word of line number 5, and just to make it easy, and read it with hamza kasra both. And this will we have in line number 6 as well. In line number 6, the 4th letter we have to put hamza with kasra, and the 5th letter we have to put hamza with dhamma, just to make it simple and straightforward to the students. So going back to line number 5, hamza noon fatha an. And as I've said, this noon has no sign, so we have to tell this to your kids that if the letter is an empty letter, it means it has a sukoon originally, even though it is not written. So you have to do same as you do with the sukoon, meaning you join the letter before it with the sukoon letter. Hamza noon fatha an, za lam kasra zil, anzil. Hamza mim fatha am, ha lam kasra hil, أمهل. همزة لام فتحة ال، قاتا فتحة قت، ألقت همزة ذال كسرة إذ هابا فتحة هب إذ هب همزة دال كسرة إد فاعين فتحة فع إدفع همزة تا فتحة أت ميم ميم كسرة ميم أت ميم همزة ميم فتحة أم سين كاف كسرة سك أمسك همزة حا فتحة أح سين نون كسرة سن أحسن همزة صاد كسرة إص بارا كسرة بر اصبر همزة را ضمة أر كاف ضاد فتحة كض أركض. And the rest of these two lines we have to read in the same way. I'm going to read line number 7 and 8 as well, because some of the letters are more than 2 or 3 or 4 letters word. So how to spell them, that would be clear for the teachers and the students and the parents. يا عين ضم يع ضا ميم كسرة ضم يعظم همزة قاف فتحة أق تا لام ضمة تل أقتل يا غا فتحة يغ فارا كسرة فر يغفر تاسين فتحة تس ميم عين فتحة مع تسمع يا دال ضمة يد يا دال ضمة يد خالام كسرة خل يدخل كاف ميم ضمكم يدخلكم. If we have more than 4 letters word or more than 3 letters word, then we read the first and second letter in spelling together, and then we move to the third letter, and then we read all these 3 letters together, and then we move to the fourth, and then we come back and read all these 4 letters together. And if we have to join fourth with the fifth or fifth with the sixth, then we join it and we go back and read the whole word together again. Same as here in line number 8. Noon qaf fatha naq صاد صاد ضم صص نقصص زاي لام كسر زل تاميم ضمتم زلتم قاف لام ضم قل تاميم ضمتم قلتم لام فتحة له كاف نون ضم كن لكن تاميم ضمتم لكنتم طابا كسر طبه تاميم ضمتم طبتم. This is the end of unit number 17, the lesson Sukun. Unit number 18, Sukun on a waw preceded by a vowel fatha. Fatha, yes. So this unit number 18 and the next unit, unit number 19, is about the about mad or harf leen. Harf leen when we have waw or ya and they have fatha before them. So if you see the waw and it has fatha before it, or ya it has fatha before it, it's a leen letter. We have to join it as we do with the sukun, but the point we have to focus here, that we do not stretch the sound of fatha with waw, with that has sukun on it. We don't. The sound of these two letters would be short. Hamza waw fatha aw, ba waw fatha baw, ta waw fatha taw, tha waw fatha thaw, jim waw fatha jaw, حا واو فتحة حو، خا واو فتحة خو، دال واو فتحة دو، ذال واو فتحة ذو، را واو فتحة رو، زاي واو فتحة زو، سين واو فتحة سو، شين واو فتحة شو، صاد واو فتحة صو طاء ضاد واو فتحة ضو طاء واو فتحة طو ضاء واو فتحة ضو عين واو فتحة عو. The sound is عو, it's not عو or not ضو or طو. This is very important to focus. غين واو فتحة غو فا واو فتحة فو is فو not فو. قاف واو فتحة قو كاف واو فتحة كو لام واو فتحة لو ميم واو فتحة مو نون واو فتحة نو ها واو فتحة هو واو فتحة وو يا واو فتحة يو. Coming to the spelling. Line number 5. همزة واو فتحة أو ها فتحة ها أو ها. We don't have to say أو ها. We don't have to stretch it. همزة واو فتحة أو ها فتحة ها أو ها نون فتحة نا أو هنا تا واو فتحة تو با فتحة با توبة تا فتحتين تن توبة جيم واو فتحة جو فا كسرتين فن جوف خا واو فتحة خو فا كسرتين فن خوف را واو فتحة رو حا ضمتين حن روح زاي واو فتحة زو جيم فتحتين جن زوجا سين واو فتحة سو فا فتحة فا سوف صاد واو فتحة صو ميم فتحتين من صوما غين واو فتحة غو را فتحتين رن غورا فا واو فتحة فو تا فتحة فوت. Unit number 19. It is about the lean letters, which are waw having fatha before it and ya having fatha before it as well. In this unit, as we have learned in our previous lesson, that we don't have to stretch the sound of the lean letter with the letter before it. We have to read it shortly, and the sound that we have to make it should be correct, such as Hamza ya fatha ay, ba ya fatha bay, تا يا فتحتي ثا يا فتحتي جيم يا فتحة جي حا يا فتحة حي خا يا فتحة خي دال يا فتحة دي ذال يا فتحة ذي را يا فتحة ري زاي يا فتحة زي سين يا فتحة سي شين يا فتحة شي صاد يا فتحة صي ضاد يا فتحة ضي طا يا فتحة طي ضا يا فتحة ضي عين يا فتحة عي غين يا فتحة غي فا يا فتحة في قاف يا فتحة قي كاف يا فتحة كي لام يا فتحة لي ميم يا فتحة مي نون يا فتحة ني ها يا فتحة هي واو يا فتحة وي يا فتحة يي. Moving forward to line number 5. Hamza ya fatha ay, noon fatha na, ayna. It's not ana. Hamza ya fatha ay, or you don't have to stretch it, is أين. با يا فتحة بي and not بي. با يا فتحة بي تا كسرتي بيتي. حا يا فتحة حي ثا ضمث حيث. خا يا فتحة خي را ضمتين رن خير. با كسر بي دال يا فتحة دي بيدي. نون كسراني بيديني. And we have to continue the rest of the lesson in the same way. Unit number 20 is the lesson in which we have to learn how to read the letter Hamza if it has sukoon on it. So in this unit, first of all, we have to tell the students that if two letters are on top of each other, there is a Hamza on top of waw. So the first thing we have to tell them is which letter they should read is the top letter, and that is Hamza. So if Hamza is on top of alif, Hamza is on top of waw, they have Hamza is on top of ya, they have to read the top letter, that is Hamza. And the second thing that we have to focus and tell them is always when you join any letter with the sukoon, with the sign of sukoon on top, if you join any letter with Hamza that has sukoon on top of it, so any letter you want to join it with the letter Hamza that has sukoon on it, the sound should be sharp and short. We don't have to stretch the sound of the Hamza that has sukoon. The sound of that Hamza that has sukoon should be sharp and short. Mim Hamza Dhamma mu mu mu. Mim Hamza Dhamma mu. Sad Fatha sa mu sa. Dal Fatha da mu sada. Ta Dhammatain tun mu صادة. شين همزة فتحة ش. نون ضمتين نن شأن. يا همزة فتحة ي. ميم ضمة مو يأمو. را ضمة رو يأمر. كاف ميم ضمة كم يأمركم. يا همزة ضمة يو. ميم كسرة مي يؤمي. نون ضمة نو يؤمن. Next line. تا همزة ضمة تو. ميم فتحة ما تؤم. را واو ضمة رو تؤمروا. نون فتحة نا تؤمرون. At this stage, the students, they haven't learned about the mud letters alif, waw and ya, but as we can see here on this on line number 2, the first word has a mud letter, that is waw. So it is an empty letter. We have already taught them that any empty letter means it has sukoon, meaning we have to join it with the letter before. The extra thing that we have to do with the sukoon letter is, because it is a mud letter, we have to stretch it to count, and they will learn inshallah very soon in their coming lessons about the mud letters. تا همزة فتحة تا. كاف ضمة كو تأكو. لام واو ضمة لو تأكلوا. نون فتحة نا تأكلون. يا همزة ضمة يو. تا واو ضمة تو يؤتو. نون فتحة نا يؤتون. يا همزة ضمة يو. فا فتحة ف يؤف. كاف واو ضمة كو يؤفكو. نون فتحة نا يؤفكون. And rest of the lines we have to read them in the same way. Line number 5, 6, 7, they are about the Hamza that has Fatha or Kasra or Dhamma on it, and we have to read it. We have to read the Hamza instead of Alif, and we have to read Hamza instead of Waw if the Hamza is on top of Alif, or if the Hamza is on top of Waw, or if the Hamza is on top of Ya, we have to read Hamza. and it has to be normal. The sound of Hamza is a, or with kasra e, or with dhamma u. It is first 4 lines where we have to focus that if they have to join any letter with the Hamza that has sukoon, so Hamza always with sukoon has a sound that is sharp and short. Unit number 21, and this is the last sign in Arabic language. We have learnt fatha, kasra, dhamma. We have learnt fathatain, kasratain, dhammatain. We have learnt the sign of sukoon, and the last sign that is left is the sign of shadda. The first thing that we have to teach the students here how it looks like. It's a W on top of the letters, and we have to explain a little bit. Shadda is originally is about 2 same letters. The first one always has sukoon, and the second letter could have fatha or kasra or dhamma or fathatain or kasratain or dhammatain. So the way they have to read the shadda letter, the very important thing that they have to remember, or the things that we have to focus, the first that we have to tell them, the shadda in Arabic means strength, it's a power. So we have to read the shadda letter with strength. And how we have to do that? It is the first thing, always when we have a sign of shadda on a letter, we have to join the letter before the shadda letter with the shadda letter. This is the first point. Secondly, when we join, we have to make sure that we stop for a second. And the third point is we have to read the shadda letter twice. So always we have to focus on this point, that is, and we have to tell the students the shadda letter is always read twice. First, we have to join it with the letter before, and secondly, we have to read the sign of that shadda letter, whether it is fatha, kasra, or dhamma, or fathatain, kasratain, dhammatain. This is very important. They have to know that shadda letter is always read twice, once joining it with the letter before, and secondly with the sign of that shadda letter that it has on it. How to spell it? Ain, mim, fatha, am, mim, fatha, ma, amma. This is without ghunna, obviously. As I've said, we are focusing here in the purple book more about the correct way of pronouncing the letters, alphabets, the correct way of reading the words, the correct way of spelling the words. So in terms of the tajweed, the ghunna, or mad or qalqala, we are not literally, we are not teaching them at this stage. They will inshallah learn all these things slowly, step by step. But there is no harm if we read, because subhanallah, the kids, they observe more than what they learn as a theory. So if we read the word with the ghunna, and they will learn that this letter that has mim or that has noon with shadda, it has to be read with ghunna. We can tell them there is no harm, but if we read them with ghunna, they will learn that these letters should be read with ghunna because of the mad, because of the shadda on these 2 specific letters, mim and noon. Ain, mim, fatha, am, mim, fatha, ma, amma, tha, mim, dhamma, thum, mim, fatha, ma, thumma, mim, noon, fatha, man, noon, fatha, na, manna, mim, dal, fatha, mad, dal, fatha, da, madda. The most important point that we have to stretch on is that when they join the letter before the shadda letter with the shadda letter, they have to stop with strength. This is all about the shadda. They join it and they stop. Most students, they say mada. They don't join the shadda letter with the letter before it, and they do not stop. So qaf, lam, fatha, qal, lam, fatha, la, qalla, qal. They have to join with strength, and they have to stop after they have done their spelling. Ha, jim, fatha, haj, jim, fatha, ja, hajja, hamza, noon, fatha, an, noon, fatha, na, anna, ta, ba, fatha, tab, ba, fatha, ba, tabba, dha, noon, fatha, dhan, noon, fatha, na, dhanna, صاد با فتحة صب صاد با فتحة صب با فتحة با صب ميم ميم كسرة ميم ميم فتحة ما مم همزة يا فتحة أي يا كسرة ي أي شاء شين را فتحة شر را كسرة ري شر صاد لام فتحة صل لام كسرة لي صلي كاف لام ضمة كل لام ضمة لو كل حابا ضمة حبا فتحتين بن حبا جيم ميم فتحة جم ميم فتحتين من جما دال كاف فتحة دك كاف فتحتين كن دكا شين قاف فتحة شق قاف فتحتين قن شقا صاد فا فتحة صف فا فتحتين فن صفا حا قاف ضمة حق قاف ضمتين قن حا قاف فتحة حق قاف ضمتين قن حق حا لام فتحة حل لام ضمتين لن حل همزة ميم ضمة ميم ضمتين من كاف لام ضمة كل لام ضمتين لن كل رابا فتحة رب با ضمتين بن رب غين ميم فتحة غم ميم كسرتين من غم غين لام كسرة غل لام كسرتين لن غل ظلام كسرة ظل لام كسرتين لن ظل ضاد را ضم ضر را كسرتين رن ضر صاد دال فتحة صد دال فتحة د صد قاف فتحة ق صدق قاف دال فتحة قد دال فتحة د قد را فتحة را قدر كاف ذال فتحة كذ ذال فتحة ذا كذ با فتحة با كذب واو دال فتحة ود دال فتحة دا ود عين فتحة ع ودع كاف فتحة ك ودعك عين لام فتحة عل لام فتحة لا عل ميم فتحة ما علم حاصاد ضمة حصاد كسر I've mixed here حاصاد ضمة حصاد كسر صي حصي لام فتحة لا حصل ميم لام كسر مل لام فتحة لا مل تا فتحة ملة تابا فتحة تب باتا فتحة بت تبت ها ميم فتحة هم ميم تا فتحة مت همت قاف واو ضمة قو. Here we have to make sure they are not stretching the wow. They're not saying qu. It has to be sharp and short with the strength. It has to be short and with the strength. قاف واو ضمة قو واو فتحة و قوة تا فتحة تا قوة سين يا ضمة سيا كسرة ي سي را تا فتحة رت سيرت تا فتحة قاف با فتحة قب تقب با فتحة با تقب لام فتحة لا تقبل كاف ذال فتحة كذ ذال فتحة ذا كذب باتا فتحة بت كذبت عين طا ضم عط عين طا ضم عط طا كسرة طي عطي لام تا فتحة لت عطلت فا فتحة ف سين فتحة س فس نون ضم نو فسنو ياسين فتحة يس فسنو يسين كسرة سي فسنو يسي را ضمر فسنيسر ها ضمه فسنيسره. This is the end of unit number 21 and the last sign of those signs, the shadda, and the end of section number 3. Section number 4, long vowels. Unit number 22, and it is lesson number 17. From unit number 22 and onwards, we will have the mud letters alif, waw, and ya. In this unit number 22, we have the first mud letter, that is alif. The way to explain it to the kids, those who are at this stage of Purple Book, that we have 3 mud letters: an empty alif, an empty waw, an empty ya. This is the easiest and simple way of teaching them about the mud letters, and when they move on into the Qur'an and into the advanced levels of reading, then inshallah we can explain in detail the mud letters and their conditions. Because the Qur'an that we are following is going to have a very easy way to recognize the mud letters, and that is those mud letters are empty, meaning they don't have any vowels, fatha, kasra, or dhamma, sukoon, or shadda. So in unit 22 we have to explain to the students that mud letters are stretched with the letter before them. So if we see a letter that is joined with a mud letter, either it is alif, waw, and ya, we have to stretch that letter with alif, waw, and ya 2 counts long, 2 seconds. So every time we see a letter that is joined with a mud letter, we have to stretch the sound of that letter that is joined with the mud letters alif, waw, and ya. And we have to explain to the students in this unit that alif, that is a mud letter, has 3 forms. The first form is on unit number 22, which is the well-known form of alif, that is a normal alif. And in unit 23, lesson 18, unit 24, lesson 19, we will learn about the different forms of the alif, which is the mud letter. How they have to recite this, as we have another point that we have to explain to the students is that and I think we have explained it before as well, and that is any empty letter means originally it has a sign of sukoon on it, but it is not written on it, but initially it has sukoon on it. Therefore we have to join the letter with the mud letters and read them together as follows: Hamza alif fatha a, ba alif fatha ba, ta alif fatha ta, tha alif fatha tha, jim alif fatha ja, ha alif fatha ha, kha alif fatha kha, dal alif fatha da, ذال ألف فتحة ذا، را ألف فتحة را، زاي ألف فتحة زا، سين ألف فتحة سا، شين ألف فتحة شا، صاد ألف فتحة صا، ضاد ألف فتحة ضا، طاء ألف فتحة طاء، ظاء ألف فتحة ظاء، عين ألف فتحة عاء، غين ألف فتحة غاء، فاء ألف فتحة فاء، قاف ألف فتحة قاء، كاف ألف فتحة كاء، لام ألف فتحة لا ميم ألف فتحة ما نون ألف فتحة نا ها ألف فتحة ها واو ألف فتحة وا يا ألف فتحة يا. Moving to line number 5. To spell it, ذال ألف فتحة ذا تا فتحة تا ذات. So we should have a clear difference, or we have to emphasize how the letters are long with the mud letters, and they are short if they don't have any mud letter joined with them. So خا ألف فتحة خا فا فتحة فا خاف كاف ألف فتحة كا نون فتحة نا كان قاف ألف فتحة قا لام فتحة لا قال را ألف فتحة را نون فتحة نا ران تا ألف فتحة تا با فتحة با تاب. Line number 6, same as line number 5, and line number 7, line number 8 as well. And in this unit, line number 9 as well is a readable, meaning there is no advanced word. At this stage, they can read line number 9 as well. I will read the line number 9, which is Hamza Alif Fatha A Dal Fatha Da Ada Mim Fatha Ma Adama. Next word, Lam Kasra Li Hamza Alif Fatha A Li A Dal Fatha Da Li Ada Mim Fatha Ma Li Adama. Here, to make it easier and clear for the kids or for the students, we have to tell them that if the letter Hamza is between Lam and Alif, then we have to join that Hamza with Alif and make it and stretch it for 2 counts, for 2 seconds. Most of the time, the students, they don't stretch the Alif, they read the Hamza or they skip the Hamza. Next, Hamza Alif Fatha A Ya Fatha Ya آية تا فتحتين تن آية لام فتحة لا همزة ألف فتحة آ لا آ يا فتحة يا لا آية تا فتحتين تن لا آية همزة ألف فتحة آ خا كسر خي آخي را كسر ذي آخيري واو فتحة و لام فتحة لل ولل همزة ألف فتحة آ ولل آ خا كسر خي ولل آخي را فتحة را ولل آخرة تا ضمة ولل آخرة. This is the end of unit number 22, lesson number 17. Lesson number 23, which is unit number 23, the second form of the mad letter, that is known as alif saghira, small alif written next to the letter. This is known in Arabic as alif saghira. Again, it works as a normal alif, meaning it is a mad letter, and we have to stretch the letter that is joined with this mad letter alif saghira. The way we have to read this alif saghira in our spelling is Hamza alif saghira fatha a, ba alif saghira fatha ba, ta alif saghira fatha ta, tha alif fatha ثاء ألف صغيرة فتحة ثاء جيم ألف صغيرة فتحة جاء حاء ألف صغيرة فتحة حاء خاء ألف صغيرة فتحة خاء دال ألف صغيرة فتحة داء ذال ألف صغيرة فتحة ذا راء ألف صغيرة فتحة راء زاي ألف صغيرة فتحة زاء سين ألف صغيرة فتحة ساء شين ألف صغيرة فتحة شاء صاد ألف صغيرة فتحة صاء ضاد ألف صغيرة فتحة ضاء طاء ألف صغيرة فتحة طاء ظاء ألف صغيرة فتحة ظاء عين ألف صغيرة فتحة عاء غين ألف صغيرة فتحة غاء فاء ألف صغيرة فتحة فاء قاف ألف صغيرة فتحة قاء كاف ألف صغيرة فتحة كاء لام ألف صغيرة فتحة لا ميم ألف صغيرة فتحة ما نون ألف صغيرة فتحة نا ها ألف صغيرة فتحة ها واو ألف صغيرة فتحة وا يا ألف صغيرة فتحة يا. In this unit, line number 9 again is line number 9 is possible for the kids to read, so we don't have to skip as we have been doing in our previous lessons. Most of the lessons in our most of the lessons we have to skip the last line of the lesson, but in the previous lesson, unit number 22, lesson number 22, and unit 23, lesson 23, we can read line number 9 as well. Remember we have to emphasize that this is another form of the mad letter alif, as it is known as it has 3 different forms. Line number 4, Hamza doesn't have kasra. We have to put the kasra on the first letter of line number 4. Hamza kasra I, lam alif صغيرة فتحة لا إلى ها فتحة ها إله كاف كسرة كي تا ألف صغيرة فتحة تا كتا با ضمتين بن كتاب راح فتحة رح ميم ألف صغيرة فتحة ما رحمة نون ضمانو رحمن ميم ضمام باء ألف صغيرة فتحة باء مبا را فتحة را مبارة كاف فتحة ك مباركة تا كسرتين تن مباركة تا فتحة باء ألف فتحة باء تبا را فتحة را تبارى كاف فتحة ك تبارك تا ألف فتحة تا با فتحة با تاب. So rest of the lines we have to read in a similar way as well, in a similar way as we have covered the shadda, kasra and empty letters, all of these in our spelling method. So the students should be able to read the whole unit, focusing on the mad letter, that is alif saghira. Moving to unit number 24, lesson number 24. It is known as alif maqsura, the last form of the mad letter alif, and it is known as alif maqsura. In this lesson we have to explain what is alif maqsura. Alif maqsura is an alif saghira that is written on top of ya. This is the first thing. Every time they see the ya that has alif saghira on top of it, it is known as alif maqsura in Arabic. Secondly, we have to point out for the kids that if the two letters are together, meaning if we have a letter and then there is another letter on top of that letter, so which one do we have to read? We have to read the top letter. So if ya has alif saghira, we have to read alif saghira and not the ya. If waw has alif saghira, we have to read alif saghira and not waw. And this is the way we have to explain to our students that if two letters are together, we have to read the top letter, not the bottom one. And here, line number 9, we have to skip it till the end of this book. And as we can see, there is a special sign on line number 8 that is a circle on top of the letter, whether it is on top of alif or any letter. So this sign they will learn in their coming lesson, the special signs lesson. But there is no harm if we explain to them that if any letter has a circle, not the sukoon is not the complete circle. If any letter has a circle, then that letter has to be ignored, that letter has to be skipped. So this is what we have to tell them, and we don't have to read that letter at all. So how to spell this unit? Line number 1, Ya Ghain Fatha Yagh Shin Alif Maqsura Fatha Sha Yaghsha Ta Fatha Ta Jim Lam Fatha Jal Tajal Lam Alif Maqsura Fatha La Tajalla همزة نون ضماء ثاء ألف مقصورة فتحة ثاء أنثى شين تاء فتحة شت تاء ألف مقصورة فتحة تاء شتى همزة عين فتحة أعطى ألف مقصورة فتحة طاء أعطى. And it is worth to mention that Alif Maqsura is pronounced in Arabic with Qaf, Alif Maqsura, and Sad. It's not Kaf or Sin, it's not Alif Maqsura, because Alif Maqsura has different meaning and Alif Maqsura has different meaning in Arabic. So we have to be very careful that they pronounce the word Maqsura as it should be, which is with the Qaf, heavy, and the Sad, which is heavy as well. Now we have on line number 4 here in this lesson 2 words together, because the students haven't learned to this point alif hamzatul wasl, connecting hamza. So it is better to avoid that, and the best way is, instead of letting them to read 2 words together, we have to let them read one word separately. And for that we have to put alif saghira on top of the first word at the end of the first word on line number 4, and the next word we have to put hamza with fatha to make it a separate word rather than joining these 2 words together. And we will do the same with the next 2 words and the last word as well. Atqa, we have to put alif maqsura on alif saghira on top of ya, and then alif hamzatul wasl we have to convert it into hamza with fatha. And last one, Isa, again we have to put alif saghira on top of ya and make it a separate word. And then ibnu, we have to put hamza with kasra on hamzatul wasl to make it ibnu, and then Maryam is a separate word. So they don't have to learn about hamzatul wasl, connecting hamza, at this stage, so we don't have to confuse them. On line number 7, as I've said, if we have 2 letters together on top of each, if a letter is if any letter is on top of any or on top of any other letter, then we have to read the top letter, as it is on line number 7 as well. Alif saghira is on top of wow. So this is alif saghira and not alif maqsura. They have merged this with alif maqsura, but we have to pronounce it on line number 7. It has to be ha fatha ha, ya alif saghira fatha ya, haya ta dhammatu hayatu, zai fatha za, kaf alif saghira fatha ka, زكاة تا فتحة زكاة ميم فتحة ما، نون ألف صغيرة فتحة نا، منا تا فتحة منات، كاف فتحة ك، ميم شين كسرة مش كمش، كاف ألف صغيرة فتحة كا، كمشكا تا كسرتين تن، كمشكات. And on line number 5 and 6, as we can see, there is alif saghira, but the word is joined with the ha, which is the dhamir, which is a pronoun. So we have to explain to the students that the alif here is again alif maqsura, but because it is joined with pronoun with ha alif, so therefore we can't see the ya. But if the word it by itself, without being joined with the dhamir, with the pronoun, then alif saghira has to be on ya. So like on line number 5, ضاد ضماد ha alif maqsura, we have to pronounce here alif as alif maqsura because it is on top of ya, but ya is not there because ya is ya is not in the word because the word is joined with the al-dhamir, with the ha alif, with the pronoun. So therefore the ya is not there. But in terms of reading, in terms of spelling, we have to make sure that they pronounce the alif as alif maqsura. ضاد ضماد ha alif maqsura fatha ha ضحى ha alif fatha ha ضحاها. Or in other words, we can explain to the students that if alif saghira is followed by ha alif, which is the pronoun, then it is alif maqsura, not the alif saghira. Ta fathata lam alif maqsura fatha la tala ha alif fathaha talaha jim lam fatha jal lam alif maqsura fatha la jalla ha alif fathaha jallaha سين واو فتحة سو واو ألف مقصورة فتحة و سوا ها ألف فتحة ها سواها تا قاف فتحة تق واو ألف مقصورة فتحة و تقوى ها ألف فتحة ها تقواها. And on line number 8, as I've said, inshallah, they will learn about the special signs, but there is no harm to explain to them or let them know that any letter that has a circle alif, we should not read it, we ignore it completely. The way we have to read in spelling these special signs as followed: Hamza, Dhamma'u, Lam, Waw, Dhammalu, Ulu, without stretching the Hamza at all with Waw, because waw is not a mad letter, waw is silent in this word. Qaf waw dhammaqu, lam waw dhammalu, qulu, hamza fatha'a, noon fathana, ana, ba fathaba, ana ba, sheen fathasha, ana basha, ra dhammatayn run, ana basharun. This is the end of unit number 24, lesson number 24. Unit number 25, and it is lesson number 25 as well. And this unit is about another mad letter that is known as ya. And as we have said, alif, empty alif, it has two other forms as well. Then ya, empty ya, and then empty waw. These are the three mad letters. So the way we have to read the second mad letter that is ya, same as we have read alif, meaning we have to stretch the letter that is joined with this mad letter ya. Hamza ya kasra'i, ba ya kasrabi, ta ya kasrati, tha ya kasrati, جيم يا كسر جي حا يا كسر حي خا يا كسر خي. And rest of the letters we have to read them in the same manner. Again, in this unit we can read the whole unit including line number 9, but we have last two words where we have ya, a small ya that they haven't learnt about it, but this ya again another form of the mad letter ya. Sorry, it is a part of the lesson that they have to know that this ya is always with the ha, with the dhamir, with the pronoun. And if they see the ha has empty ya that is written differently, meaning it is a tiny ya, it has the same it does work same as the normal mad letter ya works with it, which is you have to stretch it with the letter before it to count. So this is another form of the mad letter ya in simple words. Noon fatha, yes, noon fathana, ba ya kasra bi, nabi ya dhamma yu, nabiyyu, ha mim dhamma hum, nabiyyuhum, ba kasra bi, ha ya kasra hi, bihi, lam kasra li, ra ba fatha rab, li rab, ba kasra bi, li rabbi, ha ya kasra hi, li rabbihi. This is another form of the mad letter ya. So we can say, as we have said in our previous lessons, that alif has two different forms than the normal alif. So ya has slightly different form, or that is written in a different way. It is most of it is tiny, and the way it is written is different as the normal ya they know. Unit number 26, which is lesson number 26 as well, and this is the last letter of the mad letters, which is empty waw. And again, as we have learned in our previous lesson, that ya has another different form, which is a tiny ya written in a different shape. Same thing we have here with waw. It has or it doesn't have any other form, but it is a tiny waw. You will find out with the ha al-dhamir, with pronoun ha, but the waw is written in the same way as the normal waw, but the difference is it is always tiny when it comes after the ha al-dhamir, after the pronoun ha. So nothing different except the size of that waw, and it does work as the normal waw, meaning they have to join it and stretch it with the letter before it. So the last letter of the mad, empty waw. Hamza waw dhamma u, ba waw dhamma bu, ta waw dhamma tu, tha waw dhamma thu, jim waw dhamma ju, ha waw dhamma hu, kha waw dhamma khu. And I will read line number 5. The rest of the first 3 lines up to line number 4, they have to read the letters with the mud letters with by making 2 counts long. And we have to emphasize in these mud letters that they are not skipping the mud letters. Very important. At the end of this lesson, they should be able to read the mud letter with 2 counts long and not skipping the mud letter at all in their reading. Hamza waw dhamma u, ta kasrati, uti, ya fatha ya, utiya, ba waw dhamma bu, ra kasrari, buri, kaf fatha ka, burika, ta waw dhamma tu, ra waw dhamma ru, turu. Equally, they have to stretch both mud letters waw equally 2 counts. Turu, noon fathana, turuna, tha waw dhamma thu, waw kasrawi, thuwi, ba fatha ba, thuwiba. And remember, we have told them that the shadda letter is always short. They don't have to stretch the shadda letter. Thuwiba, no, it has to be short. Thuwiba. Waw dhamma wu, jim waw dhamma ju, wuju, ha dhammatain hun, wujuhun, ha waw dhamma hu, ra dhammatain run, hurun. So in this lesson, we have to make sure that they are stretching the mud letter waw 2 counts and not less or skipping it at all. This is the end of lesson number 26, the last letter of the mud letters. Unit number 27, and it is short and long vowels. Basically, here we have to let them differentiate between the words when they don't have the mud letter at the end and when they have the mud letter at the end. The sound is different. So we have to, the difference is very very tiny, very limited. So we have to make sure that they do understand that the word that is not ended with the mud letter is really short. The sound of the last letter of the word is half sound, and if the word has a mud letter at the end of it, then we have to stretch it to counts. So here we will have few things to point out. On line number 4, again we have connecting hamza. So we have to do what we have to do. We have to put the kasra with hamza underneath of the first letter alif. And on line number 5, again we have last two words with hamzatul wasl. So we have to put hamza with fatha on these two words. On line number 6, again we have the second word that is started with the hamzatul wasl. It has to be with hamza with kasra. So simply we have to put hamza underneath of alif and then kasra to read it hamza with kasra. And on line number 8, again we have last two words started with hamzatul wasl. We have to put hamza with fatha in both words. And line number 9, again we have first two words started with hamzatul wasl. The first letter should have hamza with fatha, and the second word we have to start it with hamza with fatha as well. The last one that we have to focus in this unit is part of telling them the difference between when the mud letter is the last letter of the word and when the word has no mud letter at the end. The sound in terms of the difference in terms of the sound, and the similar letters in their sounds, such as hamza and ayn, ta and ta, tha and sin, sad and tha, or sad and sin, ha and ha. And then we have dal and dad. Again we have dha and dal, zay and dha, qaf and kaf. So we have to explain it to them that every letter should come from its own articulation point, in its own makharij point, and if we don't do so, we can change the meaning easily, because we have other letters, they have the similar sound. If we don't read the letter correctly, we may turn it into the letter that is closer to that letter that we are reading. So for example, on line number 9 we have al-qalbi, and the next word is al-kalbi. So if the students are not reading the heavy qaf with two dots properly, right from the end of the tongue, hitting that part of the tongue to the top of the mouth, which is the soft palate, then they are going to pronounce it incorrectly, and more likely they will turn that qaf into the kaf. And al-qalb means in Arabic the heart, and al-kalb means in Arabic the dog. So very close. If you don't say al-qalb properly and you just take it like the letter qaf, heavy letter, and say al-qalb, then you have said the dog instead of the heart. So this is very serious, and this is what we have to point out in this lesson, that by changing the sound of the letter we can change the meaning of the word completely. And this is what we have to work on it in this lesson. On top of that, letting them to realize the sound of the words at the end of the mud letter and at the end of without mud letter. So this is the unit. This is unit number 27. Moving to unit number 28, 29, and 23. All these three units are the reading practice units, meaning what they have learned so far, they should be able to spell it properly. They should be able to read every single thing: fatha, kasra, dhamma, fathatain, kasratain, dhammatain, sukoon, shadda, hamza with sukoon, how they have to join it, and the mud letters, alif with its different forms, and waw and ya, these three mud letters. So they should be able to read all these things in these practicing units. Unit number 28, 29, and unit number 30. In unit number 30, again on line number 4, we will have the connecting Hamza at the beginning of the word in the word of Allah. So we have to start it with Hamza with Fatha. And last 3 lines are the advanced lines. So we have to skip these lines in this reading practice. And the last thing I would like to emphasize on it, in these 3 units, the students should be able to spell the words strongly, correctly, and on top of that, we have to try with them to let them read the word without spelling as well. So once they have spelled the word and they have read the whole word, then maybe they finish the whole line and they have to come back to the whole line and read it without spelling. So on unit number 28, the first line we have here is قومي أيدي روحي ديني ضيفي. So would be very good, would be very strong for the, very beneficial for the students to start reading the words now without spelling them now, because the next part of our reading methodology is going to be reading the words without spelling. So we have to, and this is going to be after 2 lessons from the reading practice lessons. So we have to let them get ready for that as well. Unit number 31. Now this is the mad basically. We have taught them the mud letters, empty alif, empty waw, and empty ya. And we have taught them as well that if they see the mud letter, only the mud letter, which is empty, alif or ya, they have to stretch that mud letter 2 counts. In this unit, we have to explain to them the sign of mud, and that is written, or that is on top of the mud letters, and that sign indicates that the mud letter should be stretched more than 2 counts. So we have mud letters, and sometimes these mud letters we have to stretch them 2 counts if they don't have the sign of the mud, and sometimes we have to stretch those 3 mud letters more than 2 counts if they have the sign of mud. And we have to stretch to make it unified method. We have to keep it to 4 counts, because some mud letters, even if they have the sign of mud, we can stretch them 2, 4 or 6, 4 or 5. So we have to make it to one unified method that is going to be 4 counts. So as soon as they see the sign of mud on top of the mud letters, they have to make sure that they are stretching that mud letter with the sign of mud more than 2 counts, and it has to be 4 counts. It would be easy for the students to know what does 4 counts mean, meaning 4 seconds. And if they use their fingers, either they close their fingers and every finger means 1 second, up to the 4 seconds, meaning 4 fingers, that would be helpful, and that will remind them that there is something extra that they have to do. And the teachers have to make sure that they are stretching the mud letters longer than what they used to read for with 2 counts. They may go longer than 4 counts, that should be fine, but what we have to teach them here, that the mud letters are longer if they have the sign of mud on top of them. So if they stretch 4, 5, there's no harm, but the most important thing that they should understand and realize, there is something extra we have to do, and that is to stretch it more longer. And this lesson is going to be with spelling as well. I will read line number 7. Just for example, I will read with the spelling this line number 7 and line number 8. Mim fatha ma, lam alif mad fatha la. Sorry, I just couldn't focus. So let me go back again. So the right spelling here for this word is mim fatha ma, lam alif saghira mad fatha la. ملا همزة كسرائي ملائي كاف فتحك ملائكة تا ضمة ملائكة يا ألف صغيرة مد فتحة يا. همزة ألف فتحة آ. يا دال فتحة د. يا آد ميم ضمم. يا آدم كاف فتحة ك. باء ألف مد فتحة باء. كباء همزة كسراء كبائي. را فتحة را كبائر. لام ألف مد فتحة لا. همزة كسراء لاء. لام ألف صغيرة فتحة لا. لا إله ها فتحة ها. لا إله همزة لام كسرة إل. لا إله إل. لام ألف مد فتحة لا. لا إله إلا. همزة نون فتحة أن. لا إله إلا أن. تا فتحة لا إله إلا أنت. This is how we have to spell this line. Now moving to line number 8. The second letter is in the of the first word is alif, which is not written completely, so it is jim with alif. جيم ألف مد فتحة جاء. همزة واو ضمة أو. جاءوا كاف فتحة ك. جاءوك. همزة ألف فتحة آ. لام ألف مد فتحة لا. آلاء همزة كسراء آلاء. همزة ألف لام مد فتحة آل. Here this word has to be stretched 6 counts because the mud letter has sukun after it, and if it is the case then it has to be stretched 6 counts, not 4 counts. So this word is shouldn't be part of this lesson. It is going to be the part of our next lesson, in which we will learn about the mad lazim that is stretched this 6 counts minimum. But there is we can skip this word, or we can explain shortly, quickly to the students how we have to spell it, and we have to prolong it more than 4 counts. Hamza alif lam mad fatha al. Hamza alif fatha al. Noon fathana al ana. Ba alif mad fatha ba. Hamza waw dhamma u. Ba u. So this is unit number 31, lesson number 31, about the sign of mad, how it looks like, and what they have to do in this lesson is they have to stretch any mad letter that has a sign 4 counts. And now we are moving to unit number 32, which is going to be the last unit in terms of spelling method. With the spelling method, we'll stop here, and after this unit we won't be spelling the words as we have been doing in our previous lessons. So this is the last unit with the spelling method, and this unit is about the about mad lazim and about the huruf al-muqatta'a, which are the broken letters. So in this unit, what we have to teach them, first of all, we have to tell them, as they have learned now, we can go through the revision. That is, if we have an empty alif, an empty waw, empty ya joined with any letter, we have to stretch that letter 2 counts long. And if, secondly, if the mud letter has sign of mud on top of it, then we have to stretch it more than 2 counts, and that is 4 counts. Now, if the mud letter has sign of mud,
and something we have to add here, and that is, if the mud letter has sign of mud and the next sign on the next letter is either sukoon or shadda, then the mud letter should be stretched more than 4 counts, and it has to be minimum 6 counts. That is known as mud lazim. So it is very easy and simple for the students to understand, inshallah. That mud lazim should be stretched 6 counts. And what is mud lazim? If the mud letter that has a sign of mud is followed by a sign that is sukoon or shadda. Now the last thing that we have to know in this in these first lines, how to spell this mad lazim. It's going to be the lengthy process of spelling, but we have to know that we have to teach the students as well. How we have to spell it, I'm going to spell mad lazim. So in line number 1, dad, alif, lam. So these 3 letters, we have to read them together. So we move forward, first letter, second letter, and the third letter. Then we have to go backward in terms of the signs, and that is mad and fatha. So we say dad, alif, lam, mad, fatha, dal. So we have to stretch it 6 counts and join it with lam. Lam, fathatain, lan, dalan. And the very important thing that they have to know in this lesson is when they stretch the mud letter 6 counts and join it with the next letter, they have to stop on it. Most of the students, they say dalan. They don't join da with the next letter, that is lam. And we have to tell them, because the next letter has either sukoon or shadda. So it should be stretched 6 counts and joined as well. Next word, ha, alif, jim, mad, fatha, ha, jim, fatha, ja, ha, ja, ka, fatha, ka, ha, ja, ka. Next, dal, alif, ba, mad, fatha, da, ba, fatha, ba, dabba, ta, fathatain, tan, dabbatan, lam, fatha, la, ra, alif, dal, mad, fatha, ra, dal, dhammadu, la, raddu, kaf, fatha, ka, لا رادك خاء ألف صاد مد فتحة خاص صاد فتحة صا خاصة تا فتحتين تن خاصة. And similarly we have to read the next 2 lines as well. Now moving to line number 4, 5 and 6. The first thing we have to tell the students is that these are the broken letters, huruf al-muqatta'at, and they comes at the beginning of the surahs, and these are the specific words. Some surah starts with these words. Now we have to tell them that these letters, they don't have any vowels on them, neither fatha, kasra, dhamma, fathatain, kasratain, dhammatain. It means we have to read the letters as they are, meaning in their full form, with their full names. So alif, lam, mim, sad, ain, qaf, ha, ta. All these letters we have to read them with their original, with their full name. And if we see the mud letter, if we see the sign of mud on any letter, then we have to stretch that letter 6 counts as well. So alif, lam, mim. And here we have to literally teach them how we have to read these words, because as you have realized, after stretching the lam 6 counts, I had 2 seconds for the ghunna, because the mim doesn't have any sign of shadda, so they can't understand why the ghunna is there. So we have to teach them in a more practical way, rather than explaining to them every single thing that is related to these these huruf al-muqatta'a. So next one, alif lam mim sad. Next, alif lam ra. Alif lam mim ra. So the next, the last letter of this word is ra, which we have to stretch it 2 counts. You can't say alif lam mim ra. It is not ra. It is a full letter. Remember, in our first lesson we said, when we teach the kids these alphabets, we should teach them in the correct manner and the correct way, and that is they should stretch these letters 2 counts. Ba, ta. It's not ba, it's not ra. So they don't have to read here ra. If we have taught them incorrectly, then obviously they will end up here reading the ra shortly. Kaf, ha, ya. It's not ha, ya. It's 2 counts. Ha, ya, ayn, sad. Next line, number 5. It's not ta, ha. If we have taught them incorrectly at the very beginning of this purple book, then they will end up reading these letters wrongly. Ta, it's not ta, it's not ha. 2 counts. Ta, ha. Ta, sin, mim. Here, as I have said, practically we have to show them, because seen shouldn't be read as seen. We have to join, because if we look, and that is for to just explain it, and the kids won't be able to understand. The letter sin, if we write down the letter sin, ya, noon, so we have noon followed by mim. So idgham rules will apply here, but they won't understand these things. So we have to tell them sin. They have to join it. C, the sound of C with mim. Ta, sim, mim. And they don't have to pronounce a noon that is at the end of the sound of sin. Yasin, Sad, Hamim, Ain, Sin, Qaf, Qaf, Noon. And this is the end of unit number 32, lesson number 32, which is going to be the last lesson for the spelling method as well. So they have been practicing since unit number 6 until unit number 32. All these units almost, not the first few units 6, 7 and 8, with the spelling method. So they should be strong how to spell the word, and they should have learned the basics of the reading rules in terms of fatha, kasra, dhamma, fathatain, kasratain, dhammatain, sukun, shadda, madleen, and sorry, not madleen, lean letters, which is waw and ya, having fatha before them, and then the mad letters in their different forms as well, with their different forms, alif, waw and ya, and then the mad letter that has sign of mad on top of it, 4 counts and 6 counts. When they have to stretch it 4 counts, and when they have to stretch it 6 counts, they should know it. Unit number 33, and from this unit number 33 until the end, this is basically section number 5 and unit number 33, lesson number 33. So these next 2 sections, section number 5 and section number 6, we have to read them without spelling. So just quickly, if I go through how we have divided the book: first section where they have to learn with spelling method, next section where they have to read the units and the lesson without spelling the words, and with that they have to learn special things that are related to the Quran reading, such as connecting Hamza, such as how to join two words and what you have to do in terms of joining rules, and then the word of Allah, how you have to read it. Sometimes it is heavy, sometimes it is light, and the different the or other form of the for the word of Allah. And then Alif al-Shamsiyya al-Qamariyya, the sun letters and the moon letters, and then they have to learn the special signs and the points, such as circle on top of any letter, or such as having two letters on together, Sin or Sad, which letter they have to read, and the last special sign should be how they have to read if the tanween is followed by if Hamzatul Wasl is followed by tanween. And when we say tanween, it means either it is fathatain, kasratain, or dhammatain. So if Hamzatul Wasl is followed by the tanween, how we have to read it, this is what they have to learn in the coming lessons. And after that, in section number 6, we will discuss when we are on section number 6. So section number 5, first unit number 33, that is about Hamzatul Wasl, one of the most important lessons, Hamzatul Wasl. Now in this unit, we have to explain to them what does Hamzatul Wasl mean. It is a connecting Hamza that connect two letters together, and how it looks like. It is a half Sad on top of Alif. The connecting Hamza, Hamzatul Wasl, is always on top of the letter. The sign for this letter Hamzatul Wasl is, it is Alif that has half Sad, or the beginning of the Sad on top of it. So Alif has half Sad. This is Hamzatul Wasl, and we have to explain to them this Hamzatul Wasl. We read it if it is at the beginning of the word. So if the word is started with connecting Hamza, with Hamzatul Wasl, meaning the first letter of the word is Alif having half Sad on top of it, this is connecting Hamza. So we have to read this connecting Hamza. But because it doesn't have any vowels, Fatha, Kasra, Dhamma, so how we have to start our sound for that word? This is what we have to explain to them. And we have to tell them connecting Hamza is dropped or ignored or skipped if it is between two letters. If there is a letter before connecting Hamza and there is a letter after connecting Hamza, then in that case we have to ignore connecting Hamza completely. But if the connecting Hamza is at the beginning of the word, and we have to start, because the sound of the word should start with one of these sounds, a, e, u. Every single word in Arabic language must have one of these sounds, a, e, u. So you cannot read any word without having one of these sounds. And because connecting Hamza is at the beginning of the word, which has no a, e, u, so which sound should we have to have it for that connecting Hamza? So now the rulings for the connecting Hamza, if it is at the beginning of the word, how we have to start it? The first one. Okay, connecting Hamza that is at the beginning of the word can be read with the sound of a, or e, or u, meaning with fatha, with kasra, or dhamma. So the first thing, when we have to read connecting Hamza with the sound of a, which is fatha, and it is if the connecting Hamza has lam after it. So what we have to do, we look at the next letter after the connecting Hamza. If the next letter is lam, it means we have to put the sign of fatha and the sound should be a. And we have to join that sound a with the next letter, that is lam. Al, alladhina, al-maghdubi, al-bayti, al-hamdu. So all these are the connecting Hamzas at the beginning of the word, and we have to start that connecting Hamza with the sound of a with fatha, because the next letter is lam. Now the second rule for the connecting Hamza, and that is we have to start the connecting Hamza with the sound of e with kasra, and the rule for that is we have to look at the next letter, and if the next letter is not lam, obviously we have to go to the third letter. Now how we have to count the letters? Connecting Hamza is going to be the first letter, and then the next letter, and then the next letter, which is going to be the third letter. So if the third letter has fatha or kasra, then we have to start we have to start connecting hamza with kasra. So if the connecting hamza has no lam after it, we look at the third letter, counting the connecting hamza as the first letter, then the second letter, and the third letter. And we look on the sign, which sign the third letter has. If it has fatha or kasra, then the connecting hamza should start with the sound of kasra, that is E. Like iqra, idhab, if'alu, ihdi, isbiru, ihbitu. And the last rule for the connecting hamza is we have to start the connecting hamza with the sound of dhamma, with the sign of dhamma and the sound of u, if the third letter is, or if the third letter has dhamma on top of it. So we look at the next letter and it is not the lam, then we move to the third letter, counting connecting hamza as the first letter, second and third. And if the third letter has dhamma, then the connecting hamza should be started with the sign of dhamma and the sound of u. Udhkuru, usjudu, uqtulu. So to summarize all these rules, number 1, connecting hamza will have fatha and the sound of a if the next letter is lam. Connecting hamza will have kasra if the next letter is not lam and the third letter has either fatha or kasra. Number 3, connecting hamza will have dhamma if the next letter is not lam and the third letter has sign of dhamma on top of it. This is how we have to read the connecting hamza. So it is read if it is at the beginning of the word, and it is dropped if it is between two letters. And as I have said, in this unit we don't have to spell the words. They have to read the words without spelling, but they have to focus on the rules that they have learned regarding the connecting hamza. Just I would like to go through the first word, and that we have two words together. We have to join these two words together. Now they have to move forward more advancedly, because in the next lesson they have to read two words together. So now we have to tell them the method of joining two words. What are those things they have to put in their minds before they join the next word? Number 1, before they finish the first word, they have to look at the next word. And if the next word has the first sign as a shadda or sukoon, it means these two words should be joined together. The first sign of the second word, not the first letter, the first sign of the second word, if it is shadda or sukoon, it means it has to be joined. That word, the second word, should be joined with the previous word. Secondly, if they have to join the first word with the second word and there is connecting hamza, so we should say connecting hamza is dropped because it is between two letters. In line number 1, the example is yawmiddina. So they have to, before they read yawmi, they have to look at the next word. And if the next word has the sign of shadda or sukoon at the beginning, it means the first word should be joined with the next word. So yawmi. Now we have hamzatul wasl and lam. So what we have to tell them, or what we have to teach them, and that's going to work for the rest of the lessons as well. If any empty letter is followed by a sukoon or shadda letter, then we have to ignore the empty letter. So for example, here on line number 1 and the first example, yawmiddin. So we have to join yawmi with the next word. For the next word has first letter connecting hamza, and this connecting hamza is dropped. Why? Because it is between mim and lam. Now we have to ignore the lam as well. Why we have to ignore the lam and why we don't have to read the lam? I know it is a sun letter, but to go through the sun letters and the moon letters and to remember those letters, it would be difficult for the kids. Easiest way, we have to say, or the simple way for the kids to know, and because lam is an empty letter followed by shadda letter. So we say always, if we have an empty letter followed by shadda letter or sukoon letter, then we ignore the empty letter and we read the previous letter with the shadda letter. So here, yawmid, and remember the shadda letter has to be read twice. First, you have to join it with the letter before it, and secondly, you have to read the sign of that shadda letter with its sounds, with its sound. Yawmiddi, mad letter is after dalia, after dal, so it has to be stretched 2 counts. Yawmiddini, noon has no mad letter after it, so the sound of noon should be short. Half sound of the kasra of the noon should be enough, and they don't have to say yawmiddini ni. Even sometimes they believe they are not stretching, because stretching means for them really long, but we should say if the letter is not joined with the mad letter, then it extremely should be short. Yawmiddini, ni, it's not ni, and they're not pushing the letter ni, they're not bringing the hamza at the end. Yawmiddini, ni, smoothly, they are catching their voice. And in line number 3, they haven't learned about the word of Allah when it is heavy, when it is line. And the second word is another form of the word of Allah. They haven't learned, which they are going to learn in the coming unit lessons, which is unit number 35. So we can just we can explain to them how they have to read a word of Allah, meaning heavily, and the next word as well, Allahumma, heavily. And we can explain, or we will explain to them in our coming lesson when the word of Allah is heavy and when it is light. So now the whole lesson, unit 33, should be read until the end of line number 9. And what we have to make sure in this unit number 33, because they are going to read some of the words with 2 words, so we have to focus on how to join the words and the explanation that I have given for the first word, how to read it, how to join it. The first thing we have to tell them, before you read the first, before most of the time they focus on the first word and they don't look at the next word. So what they do, they read the first word separately, yawmi, and then they realize, oh, they have to join it, then they go back. So we say, before you finish the first word, keep your eye on the next word and look if there is a sign of shadda or sukoon at the beginning. It means both words should be joined. Yawmid, and then we have hamzatul wasl, it should be dropped because it is between 2 letters, and then empty letter lam, why didn't we read it? Because it is followed by the shadda letter. So when we have the ruling, the rule is, if an empty letter followed by the shadda or sukoon letter, the empty letter should be dropped and should not be read. So these are the points that we have to focus in this unit number 33. Now coming to unit number 34, the definite article al, al-shamsiyya and al-qamariyya. All they have to know how to spell, how to read. Okay, the lam, as I've said, lam, if it has no sign and followed by shadda letter, then the lam should be dropped. And if the lam has sukoon, then we have to join it with the letter before. And here we have to make sure that they read each line with 2 words together. Now we have to teach them how to join words. So in this unit, they shouldn't read each word separately, such as washamsi waduhaha, 1 word, wal qamari idha talaha, 2nd word. Now line number 2, we have al-awwalu, al-akhiru, al-bab. So they have to read first with the 2nd, al-awwalul akhiru. We have to tell them that you have to read 2 words together. So before you finish with the first one, make sure that you look at the next word and join the first with the 2nd. And al-babul jamalu, and the last word they can read by itself because there is no other word, alhamdu. Now moving to the next line, same way, al-khawful azimu. The most important point that we have to focus here on this unit, or in this unit, is when they join the first word, because the previous lesson, not necessarily they had to read two words together, but in this unit, they have to read 2 words together. So the most important point that we have to focus, and this is a very common mistake when they come to the Qur'an, they join the first word with the next and they stop, and then they continue the 2nd word, which is incorrect. We have to tell them, if you have to join 2 words together, you should not take the break, you should read them together. Obviously, they are the beginners, they will take time, but we don't have to teach them in a way that they are stopping intentionally after joining the first word with the second word, such as al-khawful. So they know they have to join, they will stop after joining fa with lam. Al-khawful azimu. This is not the right way. We have to say, okay, now you have realized the first word should be joined with the next word. So try to read them in one go with one breath. Al-khawful azimu. The speed doesn't matter here, even if they're reading slowly, but they should not stop intentionally in between two words. Al-ghafurul fattahu al-qadiru. And rest of the lesson we have to continue in the same manner. Remember, they are joining two words together and they are not stopping after joining the first word with the next with the beginning of the second word. They have to read continuously without breaking.
Lesson number 35. Pronunciation of the word of Allah. In this lesson, we have to teach the students how they have to pronounce the word of Allah. The first point we have to emphasize on it is that the word of Allah always pronounced heavily with full mouth. Allahu, inna Allah. Sorry to rectify what I have said. The first point that we have to explain or teach the student is, or the students is, that the word of Allah is always 2 counts long. Meaning, after the second lam, we have to stretch. After the second lam, we have alif saghira, that is invisible, that is not written, but it is always there. So the word of Allah is always long, not heavy, as I've said. The word of Allah is always long, whether it is heavy or whether we have to pronounce it heavily or whether we have to pronounce it lightly. So the word of Allah is always long, meaning after the second lam we have invisible alif saghira, which is not written there, but we have to stretch that second lam with 2 counts long. Allahu, inna Allah, lillahi, bismillahi. So this is the first point we have to emphasize. Secondly, word of Allah, sometimes we have to pronounce it heavily and sometimes we have to pronounce it lightly. So when we have to pronounce it heavily, if the word of Allah has fatha or dhamma before it, if the word of Allah has fatha or dhamma before it, or if we have to pronounce the word of Allah with the sign of fatha or dhamma, with the sound of a or u, in that case the word of Allah should be heavy, should be pronounced heavily. Allah, Allah, the mouth is filled, at the back filled with air. Allah, Allahu, huwa Allahu. And the word of Allah, we have to pronounce it lightly if it has kasra before it, or if we have to start it with the sign of kasra, with the sound of li. Lillahi, bismillahi. In both cases, the word of Allah should be long and we have to stretch it for 2 counts. The third point that we have to focus, or we have to point out for the students, is the word of Allah has another form of it, and that is having meme after it, which is Allahumma. And the same rules applies in terms of pronouncing the word, that the other form of word of Allah, heavily or lightly. So it is heavy if it has fatha or kasra, if it has fatha or dhamma before it, or we have to start it with fatha. And it is light if we have to start it with kasra, or if it has kasra before it. So these things we have to point out. The first line is Allahu huwa Allahu inna Allah. And for the teachers and for the students, they have to know how to pronounce it. They know they have to make it heavily, but they don't. The way they pronounce it, they are trying to make it heavy, but it is not. They say Allah, Allah, all the try Allah. We have to tell them the back of their tongue should be hitting or touching the top of the mouth. Allah, Allah. And the teacher has to make sure that their pronunciation for this great word of Allah is correct. So this is for lesson number 35, unit 35. Line number 2. La ilaha illallah Kitabullahi Rasulullahi Fadlullahi Lillahi Bismillahi Alhamdulillahi Amanna billahi Qulillahumma Qalullahumma Allahumma Rabbana Qadarullah. And line number 9. Qul huwallahu ahad Allahu samad. Moving to unit number 36, that is more practice with the definite article. As in our unit number 34, lesson number 34, we have explained to them how they have to read al. If the lam is empty, has no sukoon, then we have to skip it because it is followed by shadda. And if the lam has sukoon, we have to pronounce it. And it is going to be the practice for what we have learned with regards to the word of Allah and the connecting hamza as well. So the teacher has to make sure that the students are strong in these three different areas: word of Allah, connecting hamza, and joining the words, and reading the al-shamsiyya, the sun, and the al-qamariyya correctly. In unit number 36, lesson number 36, obviously there are a few lines which are very well known amongst the students or the kids. The basmala, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So we have to make sure that the pronunciation for ha is correct, and they have to go deeper and bring the ha and pronounce the ha from the throat, not from the mouth. Again, next line, again, ha and ain. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Again, we have connecting hamza at the beginning of the word as well. So how they have to pronounce it, we have to make sure that they know the rules of connecting hamza. Line number 3. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. All these are lines. First 4 lines are from Surah Al-Fatiha. So most, all of them, they know these lines anyway. So we make sure that the pronunciation is correct, as it is the most important surah. They have to know it correctly with each and every single makhraj coming properly. Line number 5, line number 6, 7, and 8, 9. Again, practice for what they have learned in their previous lessons. Connecting hamza, al-shamsiyya wa al-qamariyya, and the word of Allah, have to pronounce it heavily or lightly. Unit number 37 and lesson number 37. And this is the unit that is about the special signs and fine points. Now there are certain special points, they have to know about them, what they have to do with these special signs. One of them we have already taught them in our previous lessons, and that is having a circle on top of any letter, alif, waw, or ya. Most of the time you'll see these letter signs on top of these letters, alif, waw, and ya. So they have to skip those letters, they have to ignore those letters, and they don't have to pronounce them completely. Amanu, we have at the end alif with the circle. They don't have to, they are not going to pronounce it anyway. In the last, in the first line, the last letter of the first line, we have mi'ata. So they don't have to say ma'ata. The mim has kasra and alif is silent here. Mi'ata. On line number 2 again, we have siya and it has circle on it. So we have to read naba'i. So we have to emphasize and tell the students that Hamza has to be short and we don't have to stretch it with ya. That ya is silent. Some of the students, they think, oh, because it is highlighted with the gray color, that's why we have to. In the Quran, it is not the case. So we have to tell them, because of the circle that we have on top of these letters, we have to ignore, we have to skip, we don't have to read these letters. The most important thing on line number 2 is knowing the one and only sign of imala, that is on the last word. Bismillahi majriha. Ra has a sign of diamond underneath, and we have to tell them this is the only place in the Quran where we have this sign, and that is on this word as well. And how they have to pronounce it, the sound should be in between of sound, or in between the two sounds, fatha and kasra. The sound of fatha with ra is ra fatha ra, and the sound of kasra with ra is ra kasra ri. So now we have two sounds, ra and ri. So they have to pronounce this word. The sound of ra should be in between. Neither it is ra nor it is ri. It is re. Re. Bismillahi majriha. And they have to say two count. Majriha. It's not raha. It's not majriha. It is in between. The only sign of diamond that you will see on this, under this, underneath of this letter ra. And this is the only place in the Quran in Surah Hud. Moving to the next line, again we have waw that has circle. Line number 4, same alif has circle. And then we have alif saghira on top of waw. We have taught them again, if we have two letters, they have to read the top letter. That is alif saghira and not the waw. Now moving to the next line, that is line number 6. And I would like all of you, please pay attention and try to understand. It is going to be a lengthy process to explain to the students how they have to pronounce it. So I will break it into steps, and that would be easier for the students to remember those steps as well. So always we say, the first thing, always we say, if the tanween has hamzatul wasl, or in other words, is hamzatul wasl is followed after tanween. If tanween has hamzatul wasl, this is the first thing. If tanween has hamzatul wasl, what do we do? Or how we have to read that word? So the first thing, you have to skip, or you have to take away one fatha, one of those two fatha or two kasra or two dhamma, because tanween could be either fathatain, kasratain or dhammatain. So the first step is as follow. Number 1, take away one sign of two fatha or two kasra or two dhamma. So you have first word here in line number 6, qawman. So you have to take away one fatha. It will become qawma. Your next word, you have khayran. If you take the fatha, that is for tanween, the sound of noon, khayra, the sound will become khayra. Again, in the last word, you have nuhun. So instead of reading with two dhamma, you have to read with one dhamma. That is nuhu. So this is the first step that you have to take to read this word correctly. Now moving to the next step. The next step is that you have to bring, okay, that I always use, you have to bring noon with the sign of kasra from your pocket. You should have noon with the sign of kasra, that you have to put it after tanween after the letter that has tanween, which is mim in the first word, in the second one ra, and in the third one ha. So the next second step is you have to have noon with kasra, and always noon should have kasra regardless of the sign of tanween, whether it is fathatain, kasratain or dhammatain. You always have noon with kasra, and you bring that noon and put it between tanween and hamzatul wasl. So now you have qawma, because you have already taken away one fatha. So you have qawma, and then you have ni, qawma ni, because that noon with kasra you have to place it between tanween and hamzatul wasl. Qawma ni. The last step is that you have to read that noon, or you have to join that noon with the letter that has sukoon or shadda. So in the first example, you have to join noon kasra with the second lam of the word of Allah that has shadda. So the word of Allah should be light because noon has kasra. So the word of Allah has kasra before it, therefore it is light. So you say qawma nil and lahu. So I will repeat these steps again. First step, first of all, you have to know if tanween has hamzatul wasl after, the way you have to read it is special. So the first step you have to take is take away one fatha or one kasra or one dhamma. It depends which sign you have. Second step, you have to place noon with kasra between tanween and hamzatul wasl. The third step, that noon with kasra you have to join it with the letter that has sukoon or shadda after it. So in example number 2, khayranil khayra, then nil wasiyatu. And the last example, nuhu, and then you have noon kasra nebenahu. You have to join it with the sukoon letter that is ba. And in line number 7, basaqta, you have to join sin with ta, and you have to join ha with ta, and then farrattum. Remember we said empty letter representing a sukoon letter basically. So there is a sukoon on top of that empty letter which is not visible, but it is there. So what we have to do with the sukoon letter, we have to join it with the letter before it. And in line number 8, we have sad and sin together, and we have sad and sin together again. So sin is on top of the first, in first example, sin is at the top and sad is at the bottom. So we have to read sin. Wallahu yaqbidu wa yabsutu. And in the next example, the sad is on the top and sin is underneath. So we have to read sad. Al-musaytiruna. In line number 9, وَكَذَلِكَ نُنْجِي الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. That they have to know these tiny letters or these small letters represent as the normal form of those letters. So we have this tiny noon. What does that mean? It is same as the normal noon. It is an empty. What does that mean? It has sukoon. So you have to join it with the letter before it. So these are the special signs. They have to be aware of them, having circle on top of the letters, and a special sign of diamond that is underneath of ra in only one word in the Qur'an, in Surah Hud, al-Imala. And then we have a very special line number 6, and the ruling on that is if tanween has hamzatul wasl after it, we have to follow 3 steps. Skip one of these 2, fatha or kasra or dhamma, bring noon with kasra and place it after tanween and before hamzatul wasl, and then join. Last step is noon with kasra with the next letter that has sukoon or shadda on it. And this is the end of our unit number 37. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Now we are moving to section number 6, that is meme and noon. So just to clarify, section number 6 is more about tajweed. It is related to those things that are connected or that are part of the tajweed lessons. And as we have agreed and we have said that in this book we are not going to focus on tajweed. It is all about the correct way of reading, pronouncing, and joining the letters, and all those rules that are connected to the the reading rules, not the tajweed rules, except that we are following the pronunciation. Obviously, it has to be done, or it has to be corrected from the very beginning, from the alphabet, from the huruf al-hijaiyah. Apart of that, we are not focusing on tajweed in any aspect, whether it is nun sakina and tanween, or mim sakina, or types of different mud, and so on and so forth. So the first unit here in section number 6 is unit number 38, lesson number 38, and that is, it says idhar, which is one of those nun sakina and tanween rules. So as we have said, we are not going to discuss these rules yet at this stage with the students, so we will just continue and focusing on our reading. And the only thing I think in this lesson we have to tell the students, which is practical way of saying or doing idhar without going into the theory. So the way we have to teach the kids this lesson is to tell them, because we are following a unified font of in Arabic, and that is Arabic Qur'an that they will have, and the same book. So if they see nun has sign of sukoon on it, they have to read it without ghunnah. They don't have to hold on it, and we have to explain the ghunnah, that is the sound that comes from the nasal nose. Briefly, we have to tell them ghunnah is when you hold on in your nose for 2 seconds on noon or mim. These are the 2 ghunnah letters. But when you see the noon, it has sign of sukoon, it means there is no ghunnah. And in our coming lessons, we will learn about ikhfa, and the easiest way to let them practically apply ikhfa in their reading without going through the details about ikhfa and the letters of ikhfa and anything that is related to this tajweed aspect, that is ikhfa, idhar, or idgham. So this section number 6 is about idhar, idgham, and ikhfa. So in unit number 38, these are the 6 idhar letters. Inshallah, once they are in Qur'an, once they have improved their reading, inshallah, they will learn all these things with details, about the rules of nun sakin and tanween. Basically, they will go through the basic rules of tajweed, in which it will covers all these rules will be covered. So here we have to focus on reading, so they read correctly, and all those rules that we have learned in our previous lesson, they have to apply those rules in their reading in this lesson. And the only thing they have to know, if noon has sign of sukoon, then there is no ghunnah, there is no hold on that noon for 2 seconds. And for that, we have to explain the ghunnah and the letters for the ghunnah, that are mim and noon. Then we have tanween from line number 5, line number 6, and line number 7. So this is more about practice, reading practice, than anything else. Min ayyi min anfusihim min hamimin yanhituna min khawfin an'amta min ilmin an ghadiba min ghillin anhu tanhar yanha. And the rest of the lesson we have to follow it in the similar way. Unit number 39 and lesson number 39, that is about idgham, another rule of nun sakina and tanween. But as I have explained in our previous lesson, that the focus is on the reading and the way of reading these rules practically rather than knowing them in theory. So here we have to explain the following points to the students. Number 1, the meaning of idgham. It means you have to merge a letter or certain letter into the certain letters. This is what is idgham. So you don't pronounce certain letters, you merge them completely into the next letter.
and we have to explain that idgham has 6 letters, and these 6 letters, the students, they must memorize, they must learn these 6 letters. Otherwise it would be very hard for them to read correctly if they don't memorize these 6 letters. Ya, Ra, Mim, Lam, Waw, Noon. And the easiest way to memorize these 6 letters is to remember this word yarmaluna or yarmiluna. So any letter in this word is a idgham letter. Now idgham, the third point that we have to follow and we have to explain is the idgham is divided into 2: idgham with ghunna and idgham without ghunna. So sometimes we merge noon into one of these 6 letters completely without ghunna, and sometimes we merge noon into the next letter with ghunna. So here is the first example in line number 2: mir rabbihim. Or in other words, we have to say if noon sakina, if you have to tell them if empty noon without saying noon sakina, they will get confused. If an empty noon is followed by one of these 6 letters, so they have to remember these 6 letters: ya, ra, mim, lam, wa. In line number 2, the first word we have noon has ra. So we will say if noon has ra, what we have to do? We have to read the letter before noon with the letter after noon, and we don't have to read noon completely. So noon has mim before it, so we have to join mim with the letter after noon, that is ra, mir. And because ra has shadda, we have to read shadda letter twice: mir rabbihim. This is another way to explain about idgham. In our next example is ar-ra'ahu. Again, empty noon is followed by ra, and ra is one of those idgham letters. So what we have to do, we have to join the letter before noon with the letter after noon. So we have to skip, we have to ignore the noon completely. In our next example, mirrijanikum. Again, we have skipped the noon and we have joined the letter before noon with the letter after noon. Mirrijanikum. Line number 3, وَلَمْ يَكُلْ لَهُ. Now here we have empty noon followed by lam. Is lam one of those idgham letters? Yes. So what we have to do, we have to join the letter before noon with the letter after noon. So we have to join kaf with the lam and we have to drop the noon. وَلَمْ يَكُلْ لَهُ. Next, مَلَّهُ. مَلَّهُ. Again, we have skipped the noon here because it is followed by a idgham letter, that is lam. Milladunka. Noon is followed by lam. Now we have to tell them first 2 lines are about where we have to ignore completely the noon if it is followed by if it is followed by a idgham letter, that is lam and ra. These are the 2 letters where we have to merge the noon into lam, into lam or ra without ghunna, without holding into our nose. And we have to briefly explain the ghunna is a sound that comes from the nose, from the nasal part of the nose. That is the sound that we have to hold on that letter, noon or mim. These are the 2 ghunna letters. So this is the sound of ghunna shouldn't be there if noon has lam or ra. And rest of the lines are about those letters where we have to merge the noon into the next letter, but we have to hold on for 2 seconds on the letter that is after noon or after tanween. In line number 4, mimma-in. So we have, what we have done here, we have done the same as we have done in our last 2 lines, meaning empty noon is followed by a letter that is a idgham letter, mim. So we have to join the letter before noon with the letter after noon. So we have to join mim with mim. But here, when we join mim with mim, we have to hold for 2 seconds as well. And this is one of those, mim is one of those 4 letters where we have to hold on it as well. Ya, noon, mim and waw, these are the 4 letters where when we merge the noon into them, it has to be with the sound of ghunnah. Mimma'in, mimmalakin. Again, same method we have followed in this example as well. Habilum mimmasadin. Here now we have three things to know. Number one, now here we have tanween on the letter that is lam. So we have to explain if noon and tanween, if empty noon and tanween has one of these idgham letters. So now tanween, which is this dhammatain here, has mim, which is a idgham letter. So what we have to do, we have to skip, or we have to take away one sign of that tanween, of that fatha dhammatain, and we have to join the other sign with the next letter, but with ghunnah, meaning with holding in our nose. Habilum. So we say lam dhamma lu, and that lu we have to join it with mim. Habilum. That sound of lam dhamma lu we have to join it with mim. Habilum. And then mim, again we have to merge the noon into mim, because mim is one of the idgham letters. So we have to join the letter before mim with the letter before noon, that is mim, with the letter after noon, that is mim again as well. And here at the last we have mim, a tiny mim. Habilum mim masadim. So we have to read masadim, not masadin. And that we will learn about it in our coming lessons as well. Line number 5. In nahnu min nadhirin min nisaikum. Again, empty noon is followed by one of these idgham letters, noon. Therefore, we have to join the letter before noon with the letter after noon, but with ghunnah, because if noon has, or tanween has lam or ra, we merge the noon or tanween into the next letter, lam and ra, without ghunnah, and rest of the 4 letters, ya, noon, mim and waw, amongst the idgham letters, we have to merge the noon with these letters, or merge the noon into these letters with ghunnah. Now, line number 6 is about tanween with the letter ra, and the line number 6 is with the letter lam. And these 2 letters are the idgham letters where we merge the noon or tanween without ghunnah. Ghafurar. And how we have to, tanween has one of the idgham letters, so you take away first one sign of tanween, which is fathatain here. Ghafurar, without holding in your nose. So you don't say ghafurar, no. Ghafurar rahiman. Ghafurur rahimun. Ghafurir rahimin. Next line is about the next letter, that is lam. Wailul likulli humazatil lumazah. And because we're not stopping, so we have to read the last sign of the word as well, and that is lumazatin. Wailul likulli humazatil lumazatin. Next one is mata'al lakum. Line number 9 and line number 8, these let's start with line number 8. So line number 8 is about tanween, having kasratain or fathatain or dhammatain, and then there is a idgham letter after. So it is a letter that is mim, and if the letter is mim, then we need the ghunnah as well with merging. So bihijaratim. So you skip one sign of tanween, that is kasratain here. Bihijaratin. So we don't say tin, we say bihijarati. And that t, sound of t, we have to join it with the next letter, and that is idgham letter. When we join it with ghunnah. Bihijaratim min sijilin ka'asfim ma'kulin. And line number 9 is about idgham al-mithlain. It is known as merging the similar letters into the. Now we have mim that is followed by a mim. So we have to make these two meme into a one meme with the sign of shadda. So instead of reading the first meme, we have to join it with the next meme, but with the sign of shadda, and that means we have to hold for 2 seconds for the ghunna. Hum minha amman fi qulubihim maradun. So this lesson we have to focus very strongly on these things. Idgham, the meaning of the idgham, letters of idgham, and then how we have to practically implement those rules of idgham in our reading. So as we said, idgham is divided into two: idgham with ghunna, merging with ghunna, and merging without ghunna. So here the title is idgham kamil, complete merging, and incomplete merging. That will confuse the students, so we have to keep it in a way it is idgham with ghunna and idgham without ghunna. And we have to explain briefly about the ghunna, that is a sound, not a letter. It's a sound that comes from the nose, and we have to hold on the letter for 2 seconds in the nose, and that is the ghunna. That the sound that comes from that part of the nose, that is nasal, called ghunna. And as I've said, if empty noon has one of these 6 letters that they have to memorize, or tanween, 2 fatha, 2 kasra, 2 dhamma, has one of these 6 letters, then what we do with noon, we completely merge the noon into these letters, and with tanween we have to take away one sign of fatha or kasra or dhamma and join it with one sign with the next letter. And it could be with ghunna if the next letter is lam or ra. It could be without ghunna if the next letter is lam or ra, meaning you merge the noon or tanween into the next idgham letter without ghunna if it is lam or ra, and you merge the noon or tanween into the next letter with ghunna if it is ya, noon, meme, and waw. Unit number 40. This unit is completely about idgham mutajanisain, and this is completely a lengthy chapter in tajweed that is related to the idgham with ghunna, without ghunna, idgham mithlain, idgham mutajanisain, and so on and so forth. So the easiest way here, we have to explain our children, our students, our kids, to read it correctly is as followed, and we have already explained to them. Idgham mutajanisain, that they have the, as it says, assimilation in sequence of similar letters. So these are the similar letters, but we don't have to pronounce one of these letters. So the best way to explain this lesson is we have to say, if an empty letter followed by a sukoon or shadda letter, then what we have to do, we have to ignore that empty letter completely. This is the easiest, simple way according to their age. The kids who are learning this purple book, according to their age, this is the easiest way to tell them. If you see a letter that is an empty, it has no sign of fatha, kasra, dhamma, sukoon, or any shadda, and you see the next letter of that after that empty letter is either sukoon letter or shadda letter, then what you do, you ignore, you skip, you don't read that empty letter. You join the letter before that empty letter with the letter after that empty letter. In our example here, abadtum, so dal is an empty letter followed by a letter that has shadda. So what we have to do here is we don't read the dal. We have to join ba, that is before dal, with the letter after dal, that is ta. Abadtum. The next example is qad tabayyana. Last one on line number 1 is mahadtu. And as I've said, this is completely something to do with tajweed. It's more advanced tajweed. So the students will not be able to understand first, and then that is something to do with the theory more than anything else. So we will follow it as I have explained. Empty letter followed by sukoon or shadda letter, don't read the empty letter. Ujibat da. So here we have ta after ba. We don't say ujibat. We completely merge it. In other words, for the kids, we say we completely ignore that letter and we join the letter after it with the letter before it. أجيبت دعوتكما. Line number 3. قالت طائفة. Next. ودت طائفة. Line number 4. إذ ظلمتم. Line number 5. We have learned about the Hamzatul Wasl. If it is at the beginning of the word, how we have to start here. It is with Hamza having kasra with it. اركم معنا. Line number 6. يلهث ذلك. Line number 7. نخلقكم. Line number 8. قل رب زدني علما. And I think from line lesson, since we have stopped our spelling method, I think from section number 5 we can read all those last lines that we used to skip, especially line number 9. So from those lessons, from section number 5 and onwards, we can read all those lines as well. Here فرطتم. Here now in line number 9, it's the other way around. We have a shadda letter followed by a sukoon letter, followed by an empty letter. What we have to do, we have to say, now this empty letter, we have to join it with the letter before, because this empty letter has sign of sukoon. So now we have shadda letter followed by an empty letter. In our previous examples, we were saying empty letter followed by shadda or sukoon letters. But if it is other way around, meaning we have shadda letter followed by empty letter, so what we do we ignore the empty letter? No, we join it with the letter before it, that is a shadda letter. Here فرطتم, فرطت, أحطت. Here is a simple way, because ha is followed by an empty letter, which is a ta, and it has sukoon. It means we have to join ha with ta. And last time بسطت, بسطت. And this is how we have to explain this unit number 40, lesson number 40. Lesson number 41, and it is the continuation of our lesson number 39, where we have started teaching our kids about idgham, the meaning of idgham, the letters of idgham, how to read idgham practically. And we have said idgham is divided into idgham with ghunna and idgham without ghunna. And we have to say idgham without ghunna has 2 letters, meaning if noon or tanween has lam or ra, then you merge the noon into the next letter lam or ra without ghunna, without holding into your nose. Or if tanween has lam or ra after it, again you skip one sign of tanween, fatha, kasra or dhamma, and you join it with the next letter lam and ra without ghunna. Now the second part, the idgham with ghunna. We said idgham with ghunna has 4 letters, ya, noon, mim and waw. So if any of these letters comes after noon or tanween, after noon means after noon that is an empty noon, or tanween, then we have to merge the noon into these letters, but with the sound of ghunna. We have to merge tanween, we have to take away one sign of fatha or kasra or dhamma and merge it into these next one of these 4 letters, but with ghunna. And we will see how we have to do it. Or in other way, as we have explained in our lesson number 39, unit 39, about the idgham, the other way to explain it to the students, if you see an empty noon is followed by one of these idgham letters, so what you have to do, you have to read the letter before noon with the letter after noon. And if that letter, that is if the letter that is, and if the letter after noon is lam and ra, then there is no ghunna. If the letter that is after noon, ya, noon, mim or waw, then there is a ghunna. Here we are going to focus on 2 letters. These 2 letters are waw and ya. Because we have covered all those 4 letters lam, ra, noon, and mim in our previous lesson, that is lesson number 39. Here we are going to continue and finish those 6 letters of idgham. So here we are going to focus on waw and ya. So here we have min waliyin. Lam doesn't have kasra, we have to put the kasra. I think it is missed, it is a printing mistake. So wali. So now we have to say, we have to ignore the letter that is, we have to ignore the noon. We have to read the letter that is before noon, mim kasra mi, with the letter after noon that is waw fatha wa. So miu, and we have to join with the sound of gunna, miu. And after joining here, we have to remember something extra. That is, after joining the letter before noon with the letter after noon, after joining them with gunna, we have to read the sign of that joined letter that is after noon. Very important. Most students, they miss or they skip this. They say miu li, they move on, miu ra'i. They don't read the sign of that letter, of that idgham letter that is after noon or tanween. So min waliyin, min wara'i, in wahaba. Line number 2. Now it is about another letter of idgham, that is ya. If noon has ya, so what you have to do, you have to join the letter before noon with the letter after noon, that is ya, but with gunna, and then read the sign of that idgham letter. Either it is fatha, kasra, or dhamma. So ma, you have to join it with ya, may, but you must have the sound of gunna, may, and the sound of gunna always comes from the nose. In this lesson again, most students, what they do, they bring the gunna from their mouth, miu, miu, wara, iu. And this is something very basic, which is related to tajweed, but we have to tell them the sound of the gunna comes from the nose. So don't say miu, say miu, miu, miu wara'i, in wahaba. Again, same thing applies here. Man ya'mal. Don't say may ya'mal, may ya'mal. So make sure that the student is reading correctly by having the gunna from the nose. Man yakhsha, an yadrib, or an yadriba. Line number 3, that is about tanween. Now tanween, fathatain here, has waw, which is a idgham letter. So what we have to do, we have to skip one fatha and we have to say ma la. This sound of la, we have to join it with the next letter, that is waw, but with gunna, meaning holding in our nose, not the mouth. Ma law, wrong. Ma law. After joining the tanween letter with the idgham letter, with gunna, we have to read the sign of the idgham letter, that is waw. Ma law wa'addadahu. Next, line number 4. Ghishawatun walahum. Next, miskinan wa yatiman. Next, line number 5. Yawma'idhin wajifatun. Next, lahabin wa tabba. Line number 6. Kitaban yasiran. Not kitaban yasiran. The gunna should comes from the nose. Kitaban yasiran. Khayran yarahu. We have a tiny waw after ha, so we have to join ha with waw and make it 2 counts long. Sharran yarahu. Now line number 7, 8 is about iqlab, another rule in tajweed, in the rules of nun sakina and tanween. So simply we have to say, if you see, as we have explained to the students before, that if you see 2 letters, bottom and top, or top of and bottom, so which one you have to read? You have to read the top letter. Here we have to explain furthermore that if you see this tiny meme, basically, if you see this tiny meme, you have to join it with the letter before it with again with 2 counts of hole in the nose with ghunna. So min ba'di min bayni jambi. So the easiest way is to say, always when you see this tiny meme on top of any letter or with the sign of tanween, fathatain or kasratain, read it with the letter before it, join it, and then read that tiny meme and not the letter that it is on it. Read that meme, but hold on for 2 seconds. Meaning, when you read that tiny meme, you hold in your nose for 2 seconds. Min ba'di min bayni jambi bidhanbihim. Next line, number 8. Sami'am. Now we have ayn fatha with the sign of that tiny meme. So we have to join ayn fatha with meme. Am. And when we join ayn with meme, we have to hold for 2 seconds in our nose. Sami'am basiran kiramin bararatin. Last line. Summun bukmun umyun. And this is the end of our unit number 41. That is lesson number 41. These 2 lessons, meaning lesson number 39 and lesson number 41, they are very important for them to have. They have to understand the following points. Number 1, what the meaning of idgham, the letters for idgham, and the types of idgham with ghunna and without ghunna, and the letters for each type, and then what they have to do with each type. Meaning, if with idgham without ghunna, they have to merge the noon into those into that letter, into those idgham without ghunna letters without ghunna. Noon with lam, or noon with ra, or tanween with lam or ra. And the other type, idgham with ghunna. So if you have noon, empty noon, or tanween with one of those idgham with ghunna letters, ya, noon, mim, waw. So you merge the noon or tanween into those next letters, but with ghunna, meaning you hold for 2 seconds. And the last thing that we have to tell them, or they have to know, is with idgham with ghunna, they have to read the sign of the idgham letter after joining it with the letter before noon or tanween with ghunna. They have to read the sign of that idgham letter, and they don't have to skip it. Lesson number 42. Again, this is the last lesson in section number 6, and lesson number 42 in unit number 42 is about ikhfa, which is another rule of nun sakin and tanween. And we have to explain this lesson to the students, that empty noon, if you see it, you have to hold on it, because in our previous lessons, or in the first lesson of section number 6 was about idhar, and we said if noon has sukoon, then there is no ghunna. But if noon is empty, it means there is a ghunna. And we have learnt about the idgham letters and the lesson, the everything that is related to idgham. So here, if empty noon is in the word, it means you have to hold for 2 seconds. And the teacher has to practically show them how they have to hold on. And ikhfa is in between nose and mouth, and the most important thing, that they should not touch the tongue to the top of their mouth, basically to the top part of their mouth. And if the tongue is touching the top part of the mouth, then it is not the correct way of saying the idgham or ikhfa. Antum. Some students, instead of doing ikhfa properly, they turn it slightly into the idgham. They turn it into waw, which is incorrect. The key here is make sure that you are not touching your tongue to the top of your mouth. Antum untha man jaa andadan munzirin الإنسان فمن شهد ولمن صبر من ضل من طيبات من ظهورها. Line number 4. فإن فاءوا من كان منكم. Now line number 5 until line number 9, it is about tanween. So if tanween, fathatain, kasratain, dhammatain, has one of those ikhfa letters, 15 ikhfa letters, as I've said and I'm repeating again, we are focusing on the reading, but we are trying to let them read correctly without telling them the theory, which is the easiest way to tell them the key points. Like if empty noon is in the word, it means there is a ghunna, there is a 2 count hold. If noon has sukoon, it means there is no ghunna. And we know the noon and the mim, these are the ghunna letters. We have explained to them in our previous lessons. So here, what's the best way to tell the students? And that is if they see the sign of fathatain or kasratain, and we have to explain these two signs on the board, meaning if they are parallel, they are not on top of each other, these are parallel to each other, the fathatain and kasratain, it means there is 2 counts hold, we have to hold for 2 seconds. And with dhammatain, as we can see here, if dhammatain are written in a way that is that looks like wow, it means then there is ghunna. But if dhammatain, if 2 dhamma, these are, they are written in a way that one is in a correct form, in a normal form, and one in an opposite form. So I think it has to be explained on the board. So if you have 2 fatha on top of each other, meaning there is no ghunna. If you have 2 fatha or 2 kasra on top of each other, then there is no ghunna. But as you can see on line number 5, kasratain, 2 kasra, they are not top of each other, they are parallel. So here we have the ghunna. This is a sign to know the ikhfa, the practical way of knowing the ikhfa without going into the theory or details. And again, you can see in line number 5, the next example, we have 2 dhamma. So these 2 dhamma are written in a form of 2 waws, 2 waw in Arabic. So in that case, we have ghunna here. If 2 dhamma are written in this form, then we have 2 ghunna hold on those. But if 2 dhamma are written in a different form than this one, then it means there is no ghunna. So jannatin tajri khayrun thawaban fasabrun jamilun ka'san dihaqan عزيز ذو نفسا زكية قولا سديدا لنفس شيئا. And as we can see these 2 parallel fathatain at the end of the word, and if they are at the end of the word and there is no other word after them, then there is no ghunna. As we can see here in ka'san dihaqan, we didn't say dihaqan, even though these 2 signs are parallel, but because there is no letter after, there is no word after that word, so we don't have to do the ghunna. And that goes with every single example in line number 6, 7, 8 and 9 as well. Line number 7, قولا سديدا لنفس شيئا نخيل صنوان قوة ضعفا حلالا طيبا ظلا ظليلا. Last 9, مرض فزاد عذاب قريب علوا كبيرا. So this is the end of section number 6 and the end of unit number 42, lesson number 42. So in this section number 6, we have been through the tajweed rules: idhar, idgham, iqlab, and ikhfa. But we went through them in a practical way, how to implement those rules practically in our reading rather than knowing the theory. And inshallah, once they are in advanced Quran reading, they will know the theory as well. Section number 7, that is about how to stop pausing, how to stop at the end of each word in the Quran. And this is a training, and this lesson is one of those most important lessons as well, because in the Quran they have to stop at the end of each ayah, so they must know the correct way. And from this lesson, unit number 43 and onwards, from lesson number 43 up to lesson number 48, from 42 and onwards, they have to read the word or the line by stopping at the end of it. So the best way is to let them read first without stopping at the end of the word, and then they have to repeat the same line by stopping at the end of it. And inshallah, I will demonstrate how we have to teach them. So lesson number 43, it about how to stop at the end of each word in the Quran. And for this we have to explain the lesson briefly, the rules briefly to them. The principle is, if we want to stop on any word in the Quran in Arabic, we have to stop. General ruling is you stop with the sign of sukoon, meaning you take the last sign of the word and you put the sukoon on top of it, and then that sukoon you join it with the letter before it. This is the general ruling on how to stop at the end of the word. So again, I will repeat. The general ruling is you put the sukoon at the end of the word by taking the sign that you already have on that word. So if we have kataba, ka fathaka, ta fathata, kataba fathaba, kataba, and we have to stop on that word. So the last sign of the word is fa, ba fatha. Fatha, we have to take that fatha and replace it with the sign of sukoon. And that sukoon, that letter, the last letter, we have to join it with the letter before it, because the sukoon letter has to be joined with the letter before it. So kataba, it has to be, if we want to stop, katabi. Now this is a general rule. This is the first rule. Now we have exemptions for this rule, meaning not every single word you have to stop on it in this way. We have the exemptions, and the exemptions are as follow. Number 1, if the last letter of the word is ta marbuta. I said the last letter is ta marbuta. What is ta marbuta? A circle ta that has 2 dots on top of it. A circle like a 0, and it has 2 dots on it. So this is ta marbuta. If the last letter of the word is ta marbuta, then the ruling is slightly different. And this is the first exceptional or exemption from that general rule. You have to turn that ta marbuta into ha. So completely that ta will be converted into ha, meaning there is no ta at the end, no sound of ta at all. So you have to convert it into ha, into the ha, and join it with the letter before it. So meaning that ha has sukoon again, but that ta has to be converted into ha, and join it with the letter before it, meaning you have sukoon again at the end of the letter. Like if we have khashi'atun, ta here is ta marbuta, it has dhammatain. So what we have to do, we have to convert the ta into ha. Khashi'atun is khashi'ah. And we have to take away these two dhammatain and bring the sukoon on top of ha and join it with the letter before it without stretching it. So khashi'ah. Don't say khashi'ah. No, khashi'ah. If we have bararatin, the ta here is ta marbuta at the end of the word, convert it into ha, take away these two kasratain and put the sukoon on top of it and join it with the letter before it shortly. Bararah. Rah. This is the first one. That's exceptional case. I mean, you don't stop just on sukoon. Next one is if the last sign, not the letter, if the last sign of the word is fathatain, meaning two fatha. So here we have to stop differently. So what we have to do, if you want to stop on that word that has fathatain at the end of it, just fathatain, so we have to take away one fatha and we have to join the fatha with alif. Whether the alif is written, which is almost, in most of the cases, alif is written after fathatain. In some cases, alif is not written after fathatain. So regardless, the alif is there or not there, what you have to do, take away one fatha, drop one fatha, and the other fatha that is left, you have to join it with alif and make it 2 counts long. For example, abadan. Now we have to stop on this word, abada. What we have done here is dal fathatain, then we have taken one fatha, we have dropped one fatha, and then the other fatha that is left, we have joined it with alif and made it 2 counts long. Abada, dal fathada with alif, you have to make it long. Dal alif fathada, abada, afwajan. Again, the last sign is fathatain, so you take away one fatha and join it with alif and make it 2 counts long. Afwaja. So we have said, generally you stop on with sukoon at the end of the word, but there are exemptions from this rule. Number 1, if the last letter is ta marbuta. Number 2, if the last sign is fathatain. And number 3 is if the last letter of the word is ha, pronoun ha, that is always followed by either empty or tiny waw or tiny ya. So ha al-dhamir, pronoun ha, that is followed by a tiny waw and or tiny ya. What we have to do, we have to drop that tiny letter waw or ya, and we have to stop on ha with sukoon as normal. So if we have khalaqahu, here if we want to stop on this word, we have to drop the waw. Khalaqahu. No, we have to drop the waw. So the ha has dhamma. Instead of that dhamma, we have to bring the sukoon as normal. Khalaqah. But first we have to drop that tiny waw or ya. And bihi, after ha ul-dhamir, pronoun ha, we have here tiny ya. So that tiny ya we have to drop it and then bring the sukoon on that last letter, that is ha, and then join it with the letter before. Bih. Khalaqah. This is the third way of stopping, or the third exceptional rule for stopping. I will go through the lesson number 43 now. Innahu kana tawwaban. This is how we read the whole line without stopping at the end of it. But if we have to stop, then how are we going to stop is, because the last sign is fathatain, we have to drop one fatha and join it with alif and make it 2 counts long. Innahu kana tawwaba. Next, fi dinillahi afwajan. And if you have to stop, fi dinillahi afwajan. أفواجا. Now number 2. بالوادي المقدس طوى. فتحتين at the end. بالوادي المقدس طوى يتبعها أذى. يتبعها أذى. رجالا كثيرا ونساء. رجالا كثيرا ونساء. Here, fathatain doesn't have alif after it, but we have to join one fatha with alif and make it 2 counts long. ليسوا سواء. ليسوا سواء. Line number 4, that is about ta marbuta that I have discussed, and I've said the first exceptional case in terms of stopping at the end of the word is when you have the ta marbuta, or then the last letter, or the last sign fathatain, or the la or ha marbuta, ha ad-dhamir pronoun ha has this tiny waw after it, or tiny ya. So تصلى نارا حامية. This is if you don't stop at the end of the word. If we stop, then تصلى نارا حامية. Next, منهم تقاة. So if you stop, منهم تقاه. So we said we have to join the ta marbuta with the letter before it shortly if the second last, if the letter that is before ta marbuta is not the mad letter, meaning alif or waw or ya. These are the mad letters. So if we have alif before ta marbuta, then we have to stretch to qa and we stop on ha. Line number 5. أبصارها خاشعة. أبصارها خاشعة. Line number 6. كرام بررة. كرام بررة. Line number 7. من أي شيء خلقه. Here we have ha, pronoun ha at the end with that tiny waw. So if you stop, we drop that that waw and stop on the ha al-dhamir with sukoon. من أي شيء خلقه. Next. ولو ألقى معاذيره. How to stop on this word? ولو ألقى معاذيره. Line number 8. لتعجل به. To stop. لتعجل به. Line number 9. فلينظر الإنسان إلى طعامه. To stop. فلينظر الإنسان إلى طعامه. So this is the end of unit number 43. Which is about pausing, how to stop at the end of the words. And we said the principle is to stop with sukoon by taking the last sign of the word and having the sukoon on top of it, on top of the last letter, and join it with the letter before. But there are exceptional cases. Number 1, if we have the last sign that is fathatain, then the way we stop on it is different. Ta marbuta, if the last letter is the ta marbuta, then again it is a different way, slightly different. And then if the last letter is ha al-dhamir, pronoun ha, with tiny waw or ya, then we have to stop in a slightly different way as well. Lesson number 44, and it is the continuation of our previous lesson. In our previous lesson number 43, we have learnt the principle about how to stop on each word and then the exceptional cases. We have learned 3 of them. In this one, we will continue and we'll know how to stop. Okay, if the last letter of the word is waw, ya, or alif. If the last letter of the word is waw, ya, or alif, how we have to stop on it? We have to stop on it by having the sukoon at the end of it, but the only thing that we have to do here is we have to stretch it with the letter before it with 2 counts, because by putting the sukoon on those mud letters waw and ya and or on those letters waw and ya and alif, we have turned them into the mud letters. Remember, the mud letters are empty waw, empty alif, meaning those waw that the waw that has sukoon on it, or the waw that ya that has sukoon on it, and the alif that has sukoon always. Yes, so if you want to stop on a word that has waw, ya, or alif at the end, then what you do, you have to put the sukoon at the end of the word, but stretch it with the letter before it. In line number 1, La ilaha illa huwa. If you don't stop, but if you stop, La ilaha illa hu. Now we have sukoon on waw, so we have to stretch it with the letter before. Hu. Illahu. Next, line number 2. Yubayyin lana ma hiya. So the last letter is ya, and we have to stop on it. So we stop on it with sukoon, but we stretch it 2 counts. Yubayyin lana ma hi. 2 counts. Line number 3, where we have the last letter is a mud letter. So if the last letter is a mud letter, now first of all, first 2 lines are about 2 mud. If the last letter is waw or ya, if you have waw or ya at the end of the word and you have to stop on that word, you put the sukoon by stretch it with the letter before it 2 counts. Now another exceptional case where you have to stop again with 2 counts long, that is if you have the last letter that is an empty alif or an empty waw or an empty ya. If you have to stop on the mud letters, then you stop on them as it is, meaning you stretch them 2 counts as you normally stretch them without even stopping on them. So line number 3, we have last letter here on the first, in the first example, a mud letter alif. Bi anna rabbaka awha laha. So we have to stretch it, laha, and this is even if you are not stopping. And if we stop, we have to stop on the same way as we have read without stopping. Bi anna rabbaka awha laha. Again, 2 counts. Next, man dassaha. If you don't stop, and if you stop, it is the same way. Why? Because if the last letter of the word is one of those 3 mud letters, alif, waw, and ya, meaning they are empty. So we have to distinguish, or we have to differentiate between the first one where we have learned if the last letter is waw or ya, not necessarily they are the mud letters, meaning they are not empty. They have sign of fatha or sukoon, fatha, kasra or dhamma. In the next one we are saying if the last letter is a mud letter, meaning if the waw is an empty letter, ya is an empty letter, and alif is an empty letter, then we have to stop on these mud letters as it is. Line number 4. وَادْخُلِي جَنَّتِي. We have to stretch it this mad letter for 2 counts. This is if you don't stop on it, and if we stop on it, it would be the same way. وَادْخُلِي جَنَّتِي. And in line number 5, it is example. Remember we said alif has two different forms as well. A normal alif, and then alif saghira, the small alif, and then alif maqsura, the alif that is on top of ya. So in line number 5, this is example for alif maqsura. Again, you stop on it as it is. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى. If you don't stop. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى. If you stop, same way. Next. الذي خلق فسوى. Here at the end of ya, we don't have alif saghira. I think it is missing. It is a printing mistake. So we should have alif saghira on top of that ya. الذي خلق فسوى. Line number 6. بعضكم لبعض عدو. Now here in line number 6 and in line number 7, we have to understand something, that is, if the last letter of the word is waw and ya, as we have learned in our first 2 lines, if the last letter is waw and ya, but they are not empty, they have sign of fatha or kasra or sukun, then we have to bring the sukun at the end of the word, the letter, and then stretch it with the letter before it. And then we said if the last letter of the word is empty alif, empty or empty ya, we have to read it, we stop on it as it is. If the last letter of the word is waw or ya again, but this, the difference here is that waw or ya has sign of shadda. So how do we stop on that one? We stop on that one with sukun, but without stretching on it. In fact, we have to stop with strength and short. In the first one, we said if the last letter is waw or ya that has fatha, kasra or dhamma, but not the shadda, then we have to put the sukun at the end of the letter onto a waw or ya, and we have to stretch it with the letter before it 2 counts. But if waw and ya are the last letters of the word and they have shadda, then the way we stop on it is that we that we stop with sukun, meaning having the sukun, but we don't stretch these 2 letters waw or ya that have shadda on top of them. For example, line number 6. بعضكم لبعض عدو. Now how do we stop on this one? بعضكم لبعض عدو. We don't say عدو, and we don't say so عدو with strength. Line number 7. فالله هو الولي. How do we stop? فالله هو الولي. Wali. Without saying wali, it has to be short and with strength. Line number 8 and 9, these are the lines where we have to stop normally, but the only difference here is these at the end, they are the qalqala letters, bouncing letters, where the sound should bounce. Mimma khuliqa. This is a general ruling will apply here, because the last letter is not ta marbuta, it's not ha pronoun ha, it is not the last sign is not fathatain, it is not the mad letters alif or ya, it is not the waw or ya with fatha, kasra or sukun, it is not waw or ya with shadda or sukun or with shadda. The last letter is qaf with fatha, so normally we stop with sukun by having the sukun on qaf and taking away that fatha and join it with the letter before it. But here the way we stop on it with the bounce, because the last letter is the qalqala letter, and these are the qalqala letters we will learn in our tajweed lessons in future as well, inshallah. Mimma khuliqa wa ikhwanu lut idha waqabih. General ruling will apply on these 2 lines, number 8 and 9. Here they are emphasizing on the qalqala, that the way you stop is slightly different than the normal word. كل زوج بهيج لم يلد ولم يولد. Now this is the end of unit number 44, which was the continuation of our previous lesson. Pausing. Unit number 45, lesson number 45, and it is about the signs that we stop on them, the pausing signs, and they are different. Number one, we have in line number one, line sign of Jim. What is the meaning of if this sign? It means it is permissible for us to stop on that sign, and recommended for the to stop on this sign. We have another sign that is in line number 2, Sad Lam Ya, we call it Sili. The meaning of this sign is it is permissible to stop, but it is better to continue. And I would say here, it is better to continue for those who are advanced. But if the reader or reciter is a beginner, then I would say it is better again to stop on this sign, as usually they are struggling, they don't have long breath, so they won't be able to continue. So Sili here meaning it is permissible to stop and better to continue for the advanced reciter or readers, but for the beginners it is better to stop as well. Line number 3, we have Qaf Lam Ya, we call it Qili. It means it is permissible to stop on this sign and better to and recommended to stop. In line number 2, we said Sili, it is permissible to stop or continue, but better to continue for the advanced reader and better to stop for the beginner reader. Qili, it is permissible to stop or continue, but better to stop, and it is for both reciters, advanced and the beginners. Now we have in line number 6 the meme, that is after the first sentence, meme with the tail. And this meme means we must stop on this sign, and by not stopping on that sign we may change the meaning as well. So this sign, it means you must stop on that word that has this sign meme with the tail. Line number 7, again we have Sidi. As we have said, it is permissible to stop or to continue, better to stop for the beginners. And then we have the letter Sin, that is after Bal. This is another sign. What does that mean? It means Sakta. You mean you stop, but without breaking your breath. So the way you have to stop, how you have to stop, inshallah I will demonstrate while I'm reading all these lines. So this letter Sin means Sakt. It means you stop, but you do not break your breath, and you stop for 2 seconds and then you continue, or even 1 second you can say. Line number 8, we have 3 dots in a triangle shape, and we have 6 dots, 3 each and 3 each. And meaning for this sign is that you stop on one of these 3 dots, and if you have stopped on any of these two, then you should not stop on the other one. Meaning, if you have to stop on one of them, so if you have stopped on the first one, do not stop on the second one, and if you didn't stop on the first one, then you stop on the second one. And the last sign is Jim, that we have explained at the beginning. How to read these signs? In line number 1, أَأَنْتُمْ أَشَدُّ خَلْقًا أَمِ السَّمَاءُ بَنَاهَا. Line number 2, كَلَّا بَلْ لَا تُكْرِمُونَ الْيَتِيمَ. Line number 3, تِلْكَ أَمَانِيُّهُمْ هَاتُوا بُرْهَانَكُمْ. Line number 4, وأخرى تحبونها نصر من الله وفتح. Line number 5 قريب وبشر المؤمنين. Line number 6 ماذا أراد الله بهذا مثلا يضل به كثيرا. Line number 7 كلا بل ران على قلوبهم. Line number 8 ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه. If we didn't stop on the first one and we have stopped on the second one, but if we have to do other way around, ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. Last 9 ولله المشرق والمغرب فأينما تولوا. This is the end of unit number 45, lesson number 45, and we are moving to the last the last lesson in terms of these special signs or the way on stopping on them. That is unit number 46. Unit number 46 is about Sajdatul Tilawah, and as you can see, the straight line on top of this in the second line, on top of the last part of the first ayah, we have a straight line, meaning it is an indication for the sajda. And the actual sajda that you have to do once you have read those once you have reached this sign that is like a pulpit or like an arrow sign basic. So the actual sajda is before, but when the sajda ayah is before, and the actual sajda you have to do it is after you read the ayah that has the sign of arrow, the arrow sign basically. And it is permissible to skip the sajda, meaning you don't do the sajda, but it is recommended to it is recommended to do the sajda, and it is highly recommended because the shaitan runs away. He doesn't like for the Muslim to do the sajda because he refused to do the sajda that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded him to do. So this whole unit is about Sajdatul Tilawah, and in this way, how they have to do the Sajdatul Tilawah, they don't have to stand up, and they just, if they are sitting, they just can go down in the sajda position and do the Sajdatul Tilawah. If the reader hasn't done the Sajdatul Tilawah, then the listener doesn't have to. But if the reader has done the Sajdatul Tilawah, then the reciter can, then the listener can do as well. But if both of them have skipped, there is no sin upon them. Now we are on lesson number 47 and lesson number 48, the last two lessons in this purple book. And these two lessons are the training lessons for the students how to read on Qur'an, because these are the ayat from the Qur'an. Some of them are du'as as well. So it is a practical way of to get the students ready to move on into the Qur'an. I would like to highlight few things here. the way they have to read the Qur'an uh, is inshallah, the way they have to read these two lessons is that we have to make sure that we are preparing them how to read the Quran, meaning they're not reading one word or two words. They have to read the whole line slowly in one breath if they can. Obviously if they can't, then they can stop and then recontinue. The few points I would like to highlight here, that make sure that they are not joining, or they are not reading one word reading, like Allahumma Rabbana. We have to train them to continue their recitation as much as they can, and if they are out of breath, they can stop. Secondly, they are not stopping in the middle of the two words. If they have to join two words, they are not stopping in the middle of those two words. And the last point, that we have to make sure that they know how to stop. Obviously that we have learned how to stop at the end of the lines. So this is the end of our Salaam Academy spelling method from unit number 1 until unit number 48. And these two lessons are more about the practical practice for them to move into the Quran reading. And once they have passed their exam for this purple book, inshallah, we believe they are ready to move on Quran. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make us among those who hear the good words and follow the best of it. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may He puts our effort in our good deeds scale. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make us among those who worship Him sincerely. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make us among those who are able to spread the knowledge for His sake, and to raise the ignorance from the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.